Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast, the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. I'm Santi, that's Sancho, and John Cena isn't around. What's going on? John Cena's nowhere to be seen, and it's not a meme this time, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, welcome to the Wrestling is Cool podcast, coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. You could be listening to this episode 3 days earlier than everywhere else over on patreon.com/SantiZap. But let's just jump into things, Sancho. John Cena's absence is the topic of choice for today, and it feels like a topic that's right up your alley. Somebody that has been poking the buttons that John Cena's a fraud, that John Cena's been a heel this whole time, that John Cena doesn't show up to work, that John Cena sucks. That's basically what has been coming out of your dumbass mouth over the last several months. So go ahead, have the floor, celebrate John Cena's absence the way that you have been.
What is great about being right is sometimes I don't have to say a thing. The proof is in the pudding, my friend. It is clear as day. On this day, I see clearly that John Cena is not around. He is a has-been. He is not a legend of his time. Look at him. Where is he, John? John, you have a job to do. You have to build the media because Cody can't do it by himself.
He's gotta be there. He's coming. You gotta give him time. He was filming a movie. He was busy.
Look, I'm building it up a bit. I know I'm razzing a little bit. I'm rage baiting a little bit, y'all little John Cena jort wearing fans out there. But let me hear you. This is a problem. In the slightest way, someone may say that I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, right? Not a really a big deal of that John Cena's not around because he's coming around the corner. He's that grandma going up that mountain. You know, he be coming around the mountain. The problem is you're putting out your babyface champion, Cody Rhodes, to shoot himself in the foot and to cause the people to go, wait a minute, I don't want to cheer for this guy. I want to root for John Cena because John Cena's cool. Here's the case in point. Go back to that promo on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown promo, amazing.
Agreed.
Loved it. It was a fine app. You ever been to a restaurant? You get a really bomb appetizer. You're like, oh my God.
Dude, appetizers are going downhill. I've noticed over the last, I would say that I think it might be a shrinkflation thing, man. Appetizers aren't as filling as they once were. You could, in a previous life, order an appetizer and have that be your main. Nowadays, nah. And now I'm seeing appetizers north of $20. What is that? What is going on? What has our society come to?
You feel like the bread has gone stale as well? Like the free bread they would give is not as fresh and buttery as it used to be?
See, I'm not a bread guy anymore ever since, I got into like fitness and stuff, too many carbs and whatnot. But I in college, for example, I used to literally survive off of the unlimited breadsticks and soup that they would do at Eastside Mario's.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Olive Garden because when you're here, you're family.
Oh, no, we don't have Olive Garden here in Canada. We're at Eastside Mario's.
You're not family.
Oh, well, that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. I absolutely am.
If you're not at Olive Garden, you're not family. It's that simple.
I've been to Olive Garden before. They got a great pink lemonade. Great pink lemonade.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. So what's your go-to app when you get down to a restaurant? Like, what are you looking for in the menu? You're like, we got to have, what is it, calamari? That's usually like a basic app.
Yeah, I like calamari, but if I'm with the missus, she does not like calamari. So I've learned to like spinach dip. Spinach dip is delicious.
High calorie though, dude.
It's very high calorie. It ain't easy being cheesy. You know what I'm saying?
Are we selling out to Cheetos and Olive Garden this episode?
This episode is brought to you by.
This episode is brought to you by what's the one that's everyone doing right now? Indeed. Anyway, we're not giving free promos. We're going back to the matter at hand, my friend.
How did we get to that?
the Cody's promo on SmackDown was great. Saying that he brought the reference of John Cena saying that, hey, at Mania, you told me that every day this belt's going to get heavier. Well, I'm here, John, and I'm lifting this belt high above my head. And he said, if you want some, come get some. Hell yeah, I'm on board. Cody Rhodes is still on top of his game. Come Monday, you put in out a guy that doesn't have a lot of ammunition and to literally throw up against nothing. He's no Drew McIntyre, my friend. He's no CM Punk who could do that, who could build a feud without the other person around. So you send Cody Rhodes out there at the Garden for crying out loud. That's a great start. Everyone says Cena sucks. We're on board. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, he's still the heavy favorite. They want the chance of Cody Rhodes winning. immediately when he called John Cena a moron, because as time goes on, the dumber your stuff will, like, you may say something stupid.
It was a diarrhea Dwayne. It was a diarrhea Dwayne moment.
You were doing great. He was doing great. Cody said some great things. He was like, look, dude, the Guardian's prestigious place. He's not here. He said it was an easy decision to say no. Great start. I'm like, all right, dude. He's kind of playing team that he even referenced even though you're part-time, you could do this better than full-time, referencing the Roman promo that he did. I'm like, dude, this guy has it on his back. He even did that on SmackDown where he said, fine speech. He knows the bangers. He knows the greatest hits of John Cena. But then when he called him a moron, the fans immediately said, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Which is, Santi, and that's a Cena chant.
That's a Cena chant.
You support John Cena right there. That is like
I agree. Whether you're saying Cena sucks, like you are chanting for Cena, and now Cody Rhodes worked himself into a corner by making the crowd care about Cena and not him.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I entirely agree with you. He completely shot himself in the foot. He was trying too hard to get Cena booed. Too hard.
Cena trap. You try to turn the crowd on Cena by calling out some things like, doing surface level things. That's the stuff that John Cena will see it a mile away and flip it on his head. But he did that without even being there.
Yeah, Cena literally flipped it on its head without it being there. And that's actually like live in the moment during my watch along. I said like, oh brother, like he is trying too hard to get people to turn on Cena. When the let's go Cena sucks chant started, he then is like, yeah, let him hear it. Let him know how you guys feel, how you guys are upset basically. And then the let's go Cena chants got heavier and louder and weighed more. Yeah, that is problematic. That is a symptom of Cody Rhodes maybe not being, like you said, like a Drew McIntyre where he's able to build a feud by himself. He is best when he is opposite of whoever it is that he's facing. And yeah, okay, sure, in the lead up to WrestleMania, he didn't have The Rock and Roman Reigns there all the time, but he had Paul Heyman. He had somebody always on hand to be able to bounce off of to build that feud. But now that it's Cena, and granted, we might be making a situation out of nothing. When Cena comes back, everything might just be honky-dory from here on out. But like now we witnessed the Madison Square Garden crowd start to shift towards Cena. And brother, that European crowd's going to be all for Cena once they see him. No pun intended. One of the things that I mentioned was that, listen, like they are booing Cena, like, and they were on SmackDown and a little bit here on Monday Night Raw before the Let's Go Cena sucks chant started, which, as you mentioned, that's a pro Cena chant through and through. They were booing him, but one of the things that I said, yeah, they're booing him, but he's not there yet. It's easy to boo the guy that's not there yet, but are you gonna actually boo Cena when you see whatever this new iteration of Cena ends up being? Because I don't think that you're going to. I think that there is going to be a gut visceral reaction to want to boo the new cool thing in heel John Cena. And I do believe it is going to be an uphill battle for Cody Rhodes on the mic if this is what he's going to bring, if this is the level of his material. Like John Cena, yeah, sure, we didn't see the best version of Cena in terms of promos during the whole LA Knight thing and Solo Sikoa thing. He was very, very caricature, very simple, very surface level. But remember when he dug in, when he's like, all right, Solo, shut up, and then just destroyed him. It's like, that's like 5% of what Cena is capable of. So Cena, once he gets the stick and he's not going, like, just think about it. He's going to get this microphone and he's not going to be the Mickey Mouse version of himself. He is going to be something darker, something sinister. People are going to love it.
Yes. In that solo one, he lost his voice and he said, I could bury you with half my voice at 50%. Like, it's when he turns it on. It's like that nitro boost. He's like, all right, we've been running at the speed. Let me really run. Like, I've been, oh, you didn't know? I'm actually right-handed. Like, that's what John Cena always likes to do in his sparring promos and things of that sort. But the point I wanted to say is, like, the angle that Cody Rhodes is coming at this is entirely wrong. People want to see John Cena win the 17th. That's what we want to see, right? That's the majority of the fans want to see him beat Ric Flair and see history. We always love that. I think what Cody Rhodes should do, two things. And I know it's a strange thing to say, I'm a guy sitting here doing a podcast, right? But as a fan, I've always felt that Cody Rhodes' best opportunity to try to get the crowd on his side is to really needle in on the fact that John Cena's doing it the wrong way. Like, look, John, I know you want to win your 17th title, but you sold your soul to The Rock. And that is the wrong way. That is not you, man. That's not a little Sami Zayn-ish, right? That's not the John.
No, but this would work. This would work. Listen, I for those watching, I know there's a huge portion of us that know anime, know Dragon Ball. Sancho, let me just quickly explain to you. There's a very famous Dragon Ball Z arc where Vegeta succumbs to the evil magic of a guy named Babidi, and he succumbs to it on purpose so that he can be the most strong, vicious version of himself. And there is a whole awesome fight between Majin Vegeta, and you've seen the New Day with that M. That's what the Majin thing is, where you've kind of allowed the darkness in, but you've allowed it in on purpose so you can be the best version of yourself. There is a whole arc of this Vegeta character who had a redemption story, became a good guy, but then he wanted to be the strongest again. He wanted to surpass Goku, and he allowed himself to go under the dark magic of Babidi. And I've seen a lot of anime artists turn The Rock into Babidi and John Cena into Majin John Cena and all of this, because it's very reminiscent that John Cena would allow himself to be succumbed by the dark arts of the final boss to be able to achieve the thing that maybe he thought was impossible. And what works about that particular anime arc is that in that fight, it's Goku not trying to kill Vegeta. He's trying to save Vegeta. Like, dude, stop. This isn't you. You're like the most prideful guy ever. How could you succumb yourself to this to reach this? I think that if Cody were to take the angle of I'm trying to save Cena, I'm trying to save the soul of the WWE. What he did, he was what Cody said, the worst thing you could have said. I'm here to stop the 17. Like, bro, none of us want you to stop that. Literally, none of us want you to stop the 17. We all want Cena to get to the 17. But like you said, had he taken a different approach, not even talked about 17, but talked about how Cena decided to, like you said, take the wrong path to get to 17, I feel like a lot more people would be on board. I hope that they shift the narrative of where things are going to go, specifically with Cody Rhodes' promos, to, I guess, like saving the soul of John Cena and taking that approach a little bit more. But I feel like it's more important, and that would hit more once we see what this Cena looks like, once we hear what Cena has to say, before we can really talk about saving the soul of Cena.
And I like the idea of Cody being like, look, man, this is going to be weird to say because your champion needs to be the strongest, right? And believe in himself. But what if he said, like, look, I'm most likely going to lose at WrestleMania. The odds are against me this time. I'm alone. I don't have Seth Rollins. I don't have John Cena anymore in my corner. I don't have Taker. We have the final boss and John Cena, two of the greatest superstars of all time, going against me. And they want to win the 17th. But this is the problem here, y'all. They're doing it the wrong way. And John, even if you break the record and you win the 17th, it will always have an asterisk. Don't you want to do it the right way, John? Don't you want to do it the way you've always believed in? Like, that's where Cody should try to needle in on, because then we could go, oh, I want John to win, but I want John to do it the right way, like Cody wants it too. And that's a different kind of babyface, because you are right, and we've said it, like we're going to say it more and more, but when he started pushing against 17, that's when the crowd really turned, because I was like, no, wait a minute.
No, we want that.
Yeah, we want that. So hopefully it'll be different. I'm hopefully that when John Cena appears, I just thought it was strange for John Cena not to appear at the Garden. This is such a historical building that means a lot to not only the WWE, but to John Cena's history, and Cody Rhodes kind of hit on that. That's why I really liked the beginning of that promo. He brought up all the different times that John Cena elevated his GOAT status in the Garden. And so I just think you got to have less of Cody. At this point, if John's not going to be around, really don't send Cody out there for too long. You could send him out there, I don't know, get the woe, get the two woes, get the review from Santi, say a little bit, but don't send him out there too long. Have someone out there for him. That's why they need to add another member. They need to add another member that represents the Hollywood faction when John Cena's not around, because if not, your babyface is going to go up against the crowd. And you clear to see the crowd, it could be very volatile, and all of a sudden it could kind of bury the lead into this. And I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. Here in the wrestling school, Santi, and you and I, we're always early. We're early. We see the things. We see the wind changing. We were like Bill Paxton. You know, I've mentioned this before in the good old movie Twister. We see a storms are brewing. We smell something's off about this Cody run.
We taste the soil.
Like in Gladiator.
Yes.
You know, we picked up the sand.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying we're early. We're gonna be early on this, and some people on the timelines recognize as well that that Cody promo hit weird.
Yeah,
not what they wanted.
It felt like a far less prepared Cody promo. I was actually surprised Cody was on the show. I guess he was announced a couple of hours before the show, but to me, it was like a genuine shock. Like, really, we're going to send Cody Rhodes this quickly after his promo on SmackDown, back-to-back episodes without John Cena to try and carry this thing. This thing doesn't need to be carried. Funnily enough, I think the anticipation of waiting to hear what John Cena has to say was enough to just carry us past this and get us to Europe. That was enough. This is not a feud that can get cold. You know, this is not a feud that like is going to get stale if we don't send somebody out there to build it. Like, brother, it's heel Cena. That's got enough steam for years if we really wanted it to.
Do you feel like the WWE is putting a lot of its eggs in the basket of, hey, John Cena is going to appear for the first time in Belgium, and they're going to like, I feel like the WWE, what I'm saying is focusing on gate prices and breaking gate records. So if you were to say, we are saving John Cena's first heel appearance for Belgium, they could charge as much money as they want, because now people are, the demand is such at a high, right? All the fans of Europe,
rich country as well,
right? Not only all that chocolate, not all the fans want to see Cena. They want to see heel. It's true. They have the best chocolate.
Yeah. What is your economy? Oil, lumber. What is yours? Chocolate, purely just chocolate.
Quick story is my father-in-law used to own a chocolate business in Los Angeles. It's one of the nicest chocolate shops in the city. And it was from Belgium. Like, he went to Belgium to learn about Belgium chocolate, the process of it, to get the finest chocolates, brought it back to Hollywood. Hey, it was a big popular store, dude. A lot of like celebrities liked it. But when you're that niche, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't disgrace my father-in-law, all right? He's a chocolatier. The problem is he became too snooty, and so when people came in there asking for Reese's Pieces, he'd be like, "Oh, Reese's Pieces! Get out of here!"
He randomly developed a French accent because now all of a sudden he's just so from Belgium now.
Yeah, he just shunned the cheap chocolates. But the point I wanted to make is, I feel that because the WWE is so focused on those record-breaking gate prices, as the Discord is now tanking on my end, that I feel that the WWE has missed an opportunity to have John Cena at the Garden.
It would have been nice to have John Cena at the Garden, but there was already that giant main event. I felt like they were going to be fine without Cena. But I think ultimately the lesson here is that less can be more. And we should have just waited for the European tour and getting that going, as opposed to just basically, honestly, they basically sent Cody Rhodes out there for a token promo. That it didn't do anything for the feud. If you really think about it, it didn't make it more exciting, but it did, in my opinion, kind of shift fan narrative as to where their allegiances are going to lie.
It made us pause. And it should have not made us pause to go, I want John now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it should have never been that way.
I hope that once we get John back, that we get a new WrestleMania render, because I die laughing every time they show the match card and it's just him with his heel face. Elimination Chamber. They need a new heel render.
He looks like the Muppet, that Eagle Muppet. You ever seen that Eagle Muppet?
Yes, Google I have. I know exactly the one you're talking about. Because he does kind of look like that. Yes.
It did look like that.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that
he
was an
did
eagle.
It's an eagle. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that
Bald,
that's what it was. Okay.
bald eagle, bald John Cena. All
Yeah.
works together.
I've only ever
So,
seen the
okay.
face, so I didn't know it was an eagle.
That face and John Cena kicking Cody Rhodes in the balls is imprinted in my brain. Like, I feel like Mason in Call of Duty Black Ops, and they keep showing it to me.
The numbers, the numbers, what do they mean?
You see what he did? He kicked him in the balls. You were there. We all saw. Hey, let's show it again for the 7th time, 8th time, 9th time. How many times are we going to show it? 10, 11 times, 12.
To be fair, if you go to my YouTube page and you look at like the last 12 thumbnails, they all have heel John Cena on them. Your boy's been absolutely milking anything related to the John Cena heel turn. That's what Santi does. Royal Rumble's coming up. Get ready for who had the best Royal Rumble outfits of the last 20 years video.
What would happen if X person won the Royal Rumble from this position? It's a good time, dude. It's a good time. I think, and I think what it is the anticipation and the want to see what heel John Cena looks like. That's why everybody, your YouTube videos and everybody has this discourse. It's like, it's such a mystery. And I think you bank on that mystery more so than sending Cody Rhodes out there to pasture to basically just look like an idiot. I mean, you can't do that. Not to saying that he looked like, okay, I'm speaking very hyperbolically, but I'm saying the chances of him fumbling and shooting himself in the foot only increase when you send him out there for 5 to 10 minutes. He needs to be out there for maybe like 4 or 3 minutes. Maybe to be on the side, like a reporter, like a backstage segment. Like keep that man protected a little bit.
What we don't need is what happened last year when Cody didn't have anybody in front of him for one episode, and he's just like, what are we supposed to do with the Nuggets? Dwayne. It's like, stop it.
I forgot about that. That was bad. Yeah, less is more. I think that's the lesson when it comes down to it. Is like, hey man, just let's keep Cody on ice. Let's keep that mystery, and let's actually pump up Travis Scott damage that he did. Like, let's lean into.
I think it's so funny that he's out there with the nastiest black eye that I've seen in a while for the wrestler is carrying, and it was from 125-pound Travis Scott. Listen, let's move on from this topic, but not too far away. I wanted to talk about Jey Uso and Gunther specifically. This kind of leads into some of the other topics because it's no longer, and I thought for a while that it was. And man, am I just being blindly hateful towards this feud? Am I really just a Jey Uso hater? Because I didn't think that I was. I was pretty hyped about him winning the Royal Rumble. I was like, that's a bold move. It's a scary move, but like if they've got something in the chamber to make this exciting, then I'm in. And one of the things that you and I said, and again, we say it early, is that I'm intrigued, I'm concerned, but I'm on board and I'm willing to let it play out. I'm willing to let WWE take me on this ride.
How do they let it play out? How do they fuel this little train?
Unfortunately, this main event train has been full of passengers of the lower mid card. We have Alpha Academy, we have A-Town Down Under in there, and it just does not feel like it's a main event feud. And it's not because I don't like Jey. It's not because I don't like Gunther. God, that's definitely not it. But you guys know I love Gunther. But like, it's almost like WWE is actively making this not a night one main event. Like they didn't even try. Here's the thing, Sancho. Naomi Jade Cargill, more of a night one main event than this. Just off of the story that they're telling. Obviously now the triple threat that's looming between Roman, Seth, and Punk, that's for sure the night one main event. But Io, Rhea, and Bianca, that's a far more intriguing story than what they're doing with Jey and Gunther. It was, look, I always thought it was a double-edged sword when they started the feud so early between Jey and Gunther. I thought, ooh, this is problematic because I don't know that they can tell an interesting enough story for 2.5 months, Sancho, all of February, all of March, and most of April. This is a late Mania. They gave themselves a tremendous amount of runway. I said that's problematic because I don't think that they can tell a good enough story. and I ended up being right. But I was also optimistic. I was like, at least they're giving themselves enough runway, enough time to tell an interesting story. And now we're in the home stretch here, right? As we get to WrestleMania, and they have not told an interesting story, not at all whatsoever. And it feels like this has lost all of the momentum that it had, and it already didn't have that much momentum to begin with. It feels like an act of self-sabotage to make the other matches feel more important.
It reminds me of Fast and the Furious, where they had that runway scene, and the runway just keeps going and going and going. And it's like the longest one ever to fit all the fights. So you're just like, when is this going to end? I think what it is, it's a matter of that they are trying to build Jey Uso off the back of saving Alpha Academy, off the sympathy for Otis, which we never still got to pay off with Chad Gable, the sympathy of Tozawa, and with as well as like him. They don't want to sacrifice any other bigger names like a Finn Balor, like a Sheamus, things of that nature. And instead they're like down to do Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, but that's not enough to springboard you in any way to set up Gunther. I think it's just a slight pivot, right? Because the match is going to happen no matter what. And it's the same thing with Cody and John, right? It's just a slight pivot. Just move your focus a little bit, and the focus should be back on Jey Uso and this idea that he has self-doubt, that he doesn't believe in himself, that there is a lot of pressure for him to bring back the title to his family. They kind of hinted at it with Jacob Fatu going like, Jey is not going to bring back the title. I am. So why don't we lean into that more? Why don't we lean more into Jey Uso's family? What does it mean to be a champion in that bloodline? What does it mean to be able to, run the family as a champion like Yokozuna did in the 90s, right? You hear so many times of how Yoko took care of his family because he was the champion and he made sure everybody ate. Like, what's that mean to Jey Uso? What does it mean, not necessarily to be the tribal chief, just to be that father figure or that head leader in a kind of like in a crumbling faction? Bloodline's gone, right? There is no bloodline mentioning. When Roman comes around, it's just about the tribal chief. He doesn't have Jimmy anymore. So that'd be an interesting angle to play at. And it's not necessarily just to scrap this entire main event, right? Or get rid of this match or add another triple threat or add a gimmick to it. They just need us to sympathize with this idea that Jey Uso doesn't believe in himself, rather than us saying like, oh, I believe in Jey Uso because he helped Alpha Academy. Or he's literally got choked out both times.
Well, we're back-to-back weeks of him getting choked out.
Right. And then what are they going to do to make us believe he's going to get the upper advantage on Gunther in a brawl? Right? That doesn't do it for me, right? That's not what Jey Uso is. Jey Uso is a guy who's the underdog, who has been a tag team guy for the longest time. Like, lean into that more too. Where's Jimmy? Jimmy would be a perfect guy to help him out, build up a little bit more in the story. He was perfect for the Thunderdome. So it's just a matter of like, I'm not trying to say like I'm more interested in AJ and Logan, things of that sort. It's just more that there is a lot of fuel in what's the word? Combustible, like it could explode, but they're just not finding that right match to light it, to ignite it just yet. And they have time, right? You said they have a couple a month or so. But I don't know, man. I feel like where this match is going, I see it as an opener for WrestleMania, which is not a bad thing to be the opening match for WrestleMania Night 1 or Night 2. But I think a starter match like Rhea and Becky for the championship, I think this would be where it's being slotted now based on the booking.
That's where I'm seeing it as well. And I think it's a shame though. I feel like it's a crying shame. I feel like we should be trying to debate this being in the Night 1 main event as opposed to just settling for this.
Now.
Yeah, that's not it can't happen. And, as much as I like A-Town Down Under and Alpha Academy, this is not where the World Heavyweight Championship and where the Royal Rumble winner should be eating. They should be at a different table. They should be closer to arguing that this is the Night 1 main event. They've just chosen a very lackluster ensemble for this story when there was the possibility of getting an awesome supporting cast like Jim Uso, as you mentioned, Sami Zayn being part of the story like that. This Sami Zayn would have been perfect. His history with both of them, and there's still again a chance that it might develop into that. But again, the runway that they've given this feud, the first month and a half of it, it was not great. And it's a shame that we're when this was such a shock Royal Rumble winner that had so many people intrigued, kind of like dancing on whether they liked it or not. Like that to me is a good place to be, when you don't know if you like something or hated something. Because what you are at that point now, Sancho, is a blank canvas for the WWE to mold and manipulate, right? To turn you into a fan of it. And I feel like they've done a very poor job at that, unfortunately. And I see several other matches as more exciting and more interesting than what they're doing with Jey and Gunther. And I think that sucks. That's all I wanted to say.
If it was 2012, okay, if this Rumble was like 2012, where we're like, Sheamus won, great. But that Rumble wasn't really that stacked, right? There wasn't that really big hitters, but this is one of the most, it was billed as the most all-star studded Royal Rumble 2025. You had the GOATs in the ring, and you went with Jey Uso. You were right. It should have been a bigger, he should be near the head of the table if he wants to be able to get that excitement. But I don't know, man. I think what a lot of people haven't really leaned into more, and no one's really talking about, and I think a comment brought it up because we talked about how it just takes a one push last podcast. And they were like, oh, you mean Jey Uso just pushing John Cena off the apron? Because that's what sent John Cena into that dark place.
Maybe.
So I'm hoping that the WWE talks about that more. And I'm hoping John Cena brings that up like, hey, Jey Uso is responsible for this. I kind of want Jey Uso in the crosshairs of John Cena too. That'd be kind of interesting.
That would help Jey Uso so much.
Right. Just to be like, there's more outside forces that are up against him, not just Gunther. Now he's dealing with Gunther and the Hollywood faction after him. I don't know if that's the name of it. I kind of like the name of the Hollywood faction.
The
Hollywood Rock. Oh, you're right, dude. You said this last week, but Hollywood Hogan would have been so good.
He would have been perfect, but like it's a different, the wrong type of heat now, brother. It's the wrong type of heat. But if we could teleport back to, well, we don't even need to teleport back like that far. Like if Hogan just didn't have the social baggage that he had now, and you just slap on the black and white on him, he would have been such a perfect Ric Flair to Evolution, right? We don't need you wrestling. We don't really even need you cutting promos. We just need you there to exist and be a body that helps create this visual representation of what this faction is. But it'd be the wrong type of heat now to throw Hulk Hogan out there.
That'd be scary, dude. That's a living Mount Rushmore running around. We mentioned this before, how history repeats itself in WWE. They love to double dip. Do you like to double dip? Are you a double dipper?
If I'm by myself, I exclusively double dip. If I am with my beautiful partner, then I'll double dip and hopefully she doesn't call it out.
Does she listen to the podcast? Is that the second time you've been gassing up your significant other?
No, she does not.
Yeah, my wife doesn't either.
Yeah, and they don't care about us, bro.
I go, Santi says this today, honey. She's like, all right.
Who's that?
The history repeats itself for the WWE. They love to double dip and they love to do sequels. Is this where Stone Cold comes back in Mania?
It's perfect for him. It was perfect for him last year. Like last year's was the perfect place for Stone Cold to come back. I said this in a video. I'm like, man, I hope that Stone Cold saw how awesome WrestleMania 40 ended up being even in his absence, that maybe like triggers something in the back of his head, is like, I can't miss the next time the opportunity comes around for a couple of extra tens of thousands of dollars. I'm already rich, brother. Like just do it. Just do it, Stone Cold, because he would be perfect for this year. He would be the perfect person to come back and provide that helping hand to Cody Rhodes.
On that mean helping Cody Rhodes.
Oh,
I'm talking about being the living Mount Rushmore running around.
Join Cena and The Rock? Ooh, I don't know. That doesn't seem right. Nah,
it doesn't seem right. You know what Stone Cold should have... But again, maybe this whole notion of Stone Cold not appearing and then pivoting leads to... I don't know. I feel like the WWE is so... lack of a better word, spoiled in their riches, is that they could really just easily pivot. It if something's going south, they could turn course so quickly, and we'd be like, and everyone's like, oh, see, you let Papa H cook. And this Cody thing is going south, but as soon as John Cena appears and says something like, see, you guys were just overanalyzing the appearance of Cody. It's like, no, dude. Like, I think you said it again. It says, like, bro, that just because the ride gets us where we like to be, that doesn't mean we can't complain about the turbulence along the way.
100%, man. Like, look, I get it. Triple H, let Papa H cook. Like, the mantra is back. But I've always been a big believer that we should not be satisfied with mediocrity along the way. Like, why we should expect a good product all the way through and through, not just a good end result. A good product through and through is important because it's your time that you're investing into this product. And if you have a bad episode of Monday Night Raw for the sake of building a future episode of Monday Night Raw, that doesn't all of a sudden preclude them from criticism. Like, oh no, but this was only bad because the next one's going to be good. Somewhere down the line, it's going to be good. No, like, have a little bit of self-respect, sister. All right, have a little bit. You're a queen. You're a king. You should expect good through and through.
So you're saying are you off the Jey Uso Alpha Academy train?
I think so. Like, I don't think I was ever on it, to be honest. I was on the wait list of the Jey Uso train. I was like, let me see what you got. And then I saw all the pre-order bonuses and I was like, I don't think so. Maybe I'll rent this from Blockbuster.
Hey, pal, I see that you're buying the Jey Uso game. Do you want to put a $5 down on this future game? That's gonna.
Oh, you just gave me PTSD. You just gave me PTSD from those days.
Oh, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, it's interesting that you like this fighting game. Did you know? Brother, I appreciate you, man.
Dude, did you have you ever seen Parks and Rec, the show where there's a scene where a character named Ron Swanson, who is this very handy man, goes into a Home Hardware and a guy tries to come up to help him, and he just immediately stops. And he's like, "Stop! I know more than you." That's how I felt. I bet that's how you probably felt that when GameStop employees try to upsell you on things. Stop! I know more than you.
Well, it's more that I know what they're doing, and I know that they hit a metric, and I feel sorry for them. You know, you're just like, brother, I appreciate you, but I'm not going to come back 6 months from now to remember that I have $5 down on Resident Evil 20. Hey, quick pivot. Are you willing to pay $100 for Grand Theft Auto 6?
Look, I'm not into Grand Theft Auto games anymore, and I'm not really into open world games anymore, but I have an opinion on this. The answer would be, if it's something that I'm going to get thousands of hours of enjoyment, which is what people get out of Grand Theft Autos, then yes, I am willing to pay that. Considering that, like, people are willing to pay $0 for a free-to-play game, but then pay hundreds in cosmetics. If you're willing to do that, yeah, I'm looking at you, Sancho. If you're willing to do that, like, how are you not willing to pay $100 flat fee for something that's going to get you thousands of dollars of enjoyment? I think the problematic thing about it is that now all of a sudden game companies and games that do not deserve the $100 price tag will now use that as games are just now $100. But if there's a game company that has earned the right to charge more based on how beefy and meaty their games are, it is Rockstar. Because I would have paid $100 for Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think the crazy thing about this argument is that there are bundles in other games that are over $100.
Bro, I paid $150 for the stupid Bloodline edition of WWE 2K25. I get it.
I know, and I asked you, I go, would you buy the Bloodline edition? I'm like, oh, that means I have to do it too. And I'm looking at what you get. You get more VC. You get all
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I know you get access, and the thing about it, I think Shroud, and I know we're pivoting here, but I think it's something to be said about media and entertainment, and especially in gaming. Is Shroud said, I don't like playing games where you have to build yourself up to being good, like your character. Like you have to put hours and hours just to be good in terms of just. You know, you have to have the right buffs, the right attributes, and you have to do this and you have to do that. Like, why can't we just be good and have fun right at the onset, right? Why have to time sink myself into just being a basic character? And I agree to that. Like, why games do that? Why do I have to start at level 60 and then spend either grind myself hour-wise to be a strong character or pay money out the wazoo for it. And I think the problem is because there's that online component is like, oh, you take your character and it's a pay to win, right? You give a level 90 rating. The point I want to make is, man, things are getting expensive. And what's the best deal? $5 on Patreon for the wrestling is cool, brother. The best deal in all of wrestling because we got so many hours of free entertainment.
Hundreds. No, I'm not kidding. There's literal hundreds of hours of content on the Patreon and things that are evergreen, like our Match Club and some of our other series that we think that you would get a tremendous amount of value out of for just $5. Because it's not like, oh, this series is $8 and that series is under the $15. No, every single piece of video content that we produce is available at the $5 tier. Every single one. Every single one.
Which I keep fighting for because you want to raise.
Hey man, why is it that they can raise the prices of like everything, but we can't raise the prices of the Patreon? Absolutely ridiculous.
Some places you could only get 3 cartons of eggs.
Insane.
Cutting off the eggs.
Wow.
Insane.
Cutting off the eggs. Did you see? Well, did you know that there's like a mass genocide of chickens right now?
Stop with your morose thoughts. What's wrong with you?
Chickens are getting killed right now, man.
What's wrong
Imagine
with you?
being a chicken right now
Santi.
and knowing that there's a 50% chance that you're going to get culled. Wrong.
You sound like Steiner math right now. I'm a chicken. I'm the biggest chicken in the yard. That means I have a 50% chance.
You add Samoa Joe chicken to that? Let's talk about Punk, Seth, and Roman. We had a fantastic finisher fest in the Garden in a cage match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, a match that was abruptly ended when Roman Reigns pulled out Seth Rollins out of the cage to technically help Seth Rollins win. Then he annihilated Seth Rollins, and then he saw his girlfriend Paul Heyman flirting with another man, and he got jealous. He went in there and destroyed Roman Reigns to assert his authority and his dominance over his girlfriend. Destroy CM Punk. Thank you for catching that. And that sets us up, man. There's the trifecta: Punk, Seth, Roman at WrestleMania, because now all 3 of these guys have reasons to really hate each other because, well, Roman seems to be jealous of what's going on with Punk and the Wise Men, and he obviously hates Seth. Seth obviously has reason to hate both of them, but now CM Punk obviously hates Seth, but now has reasons to hate Roman because Roman attacked him seemingly unprovoked. I want this to, 1, be the night 1 main event, Sancho, and 2, I don't need any stipulations. Just let this be a triple threat for a grudge. And what I mean by stipulation, I don't mean like a gimmick, like a Hell in a Cell or anything like that. Triple threat already means no disqualification, so I could see that match getting violent.
Say it. What's your favorite gimmick? Say it.
The Punjabi prison match.
No.
It's gonna be Bloodline Rules.
There we go.
You treated me like Bart Simpson. Say the thing.
Yeah. The roar.
But now I see people saying that they want the winner of this to go into the night 2 main event. I'm like, nah, man. Like just let this be a triple threat because all 3 of these guys hate each other, because that's rare. Because usually triple threats are for a title, number 1 contendership. It's a match in a tournament or whatever. Let this be a rare triple threat just because all 3 of us hate each other.
You think they're gonna do what they did to Edge and Daniel Bryan, where Roman pins both?
I hope not. I hope that's not the case. There's too much of a future for both CM Punk and Seth Rollins in WWE to do that. I think they sniffed out the end of Daniel Bryan within WWE because his contract was going to be up within like 2 months after that match, or like a month or something. So I felt like they were more willing to do that, but I don't think that they're willing to do that with stars like the caliber of Punk and Seth.
It's interesting to me that Paul Heyman is still at the center of this, and some people were saying like, why is everyone so invested in Paul Heyman? I was like, do you understand this man is the walking wrestling devil? He just is, and he's been in the business for such a long time, and he is one of those legacy figures that you kind of pine after. And of course, Roman would feel jaded that CM Punk is now back and trying to take his piece. He's wise man, brother. Do you know how much Roman suffers without Paul Heyman around, and vice versa? So I like that idea that they're kind of fighting over the soul of Paul Heyman. And I like the idea that CM Punk is the sympathetic guy that he saved Paul Heyman from Solo Sikoa. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember he's like, take me with you. He saved him. He saved him from all the good times. And so that is history there. My feeling in this entire situation is, boy, oh boy, what happened to the golden boy, Seth Rollins, brother?
Oh my God. What are you, 80? Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy. Gee, howdy. What happened to Seth Rollins, man? Super Seth. What was it? 2 years ago, we were watching Payback 2023, and we were talking about Super Seth Rollins, the man carrying the title, the man adding prestige to the working title, the man beating everybody, any challenger. They would do those long vignettes, and we're like, oh my God, this might be the guy to beat Seth Rollins. Ooh, nope, doesn't do it. Seth Rollins, who had knees, broken back. Oh my God, watch out for Seth Rollins' back. Here comes Nakamura. What happened to this man? This man lost to Cody Rhodes twice, lost to one-arm Cody Rhodes, lost to CM Punk at the Netflix, technically beat CM Punk here, but Seth Rollins, man, you would figure he is the WWE Golden Boy. If you put him in this triple threat that you're kind of promoting here, he's not going to be the favorite. He is not going to be the favorite. And if he wins, people are not going to like it.
I think it'll be fine depending on the story that they tell. Like, if let's say he wins because the story between Punk and Roman heats up too much during the match, and Paul Heyman causes a rift between these two that causes them to focus on each other, and Seth Rollins is able to walk away with a victory because of that, then that works. Here's the thing. Whoever wins is going to win because the other two are focused too much on each other. It's set up that way.
Yeah, but don't you want Seth Rollins to like come out on top if he is
No.
the WWE?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Want Rollins to have a clean win somewhere? I feel like he's just been he did the job in 40, dude. The dude with one leg went out there, hobbled out, gave Drew, which we're gonna watch again, Drew versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40 here on Match Club. If you want to see us react to that, to see Seth Rollins one-legged, sacrifice everything, dressed up as the Architect Shield Rollins, run out there, distract Roman, all that, and then to lose?
Boo-hoo. Who cares, man? It's CM Punk and Roman Reigns. There's your answer. There's your answer as to why your little golden boy doesn't get to just have his little fairy tale story.
Boy, oh boy, sir. I speak for the trees. I am the Lorax of Seth Rollins, and you're going to continue to not let Seth Rollins get a clean win. What happened in the book, The Lorax, my friend? The good old Onceler, which I read recently, the good old Onceler came by and decided to hack down all the truffle trees, right? Just hacked them all down because he was greedy. That's the WWE, dude. Hacking all the WWE prospects to make room for these CM Punks and the Cody Rhodes of the world. When you have the golden boy, the golden child right there, Seth Rollins, and you keep hacking Seth Rollins away and letting him be this great like obstacle for these superstars like CM Punk and Roman Reigns, you're gonna lose Seth Rollins, my friend. You're gonna lose.
But like, I don't get why you're so set on the idea that Seth couldn't win this. Why couldn't he?
How many curb stomps? How many super curb stomps that he hit to CM Punk in the chamber and here? Isn't it kind of crazy that he's thrown everything in the kitchen sink to CM Punk and he can't beat this aging superstar?
I mean, the same thing goes back to CM Punk. CM Punk hit him with like 4 GTSs and stomps and wasn't able to get the victory. But at least he won at Raw Netflix, so Punk has something.
I know, but it's Seth Rollins, man.
But it's CM Punk. Like, these are like names that are on the same echelon. You're acting as if this is Seth Rollins versus Tozawa.
It feels like a Aaron Rodgers versus like a younger quarterback. You're telling me that they would be able to go toe to toe still? I know I'm looking at this logically. I know I am. But I'm just trying to tell you that the more and more Seth Rollins doesn't get a clean victory, and the more and more that he can't beat, he's literally throwing everything at CM Punk. And I understand they're both going. You're saying they're both trading haymakers here, right?
Yes.
Literally, they brawled in the ring. They brawled in the cage match. It was fisticuffs the entire time. And then all of a sudden, it was false finish. everything thrown at each other. It was like watching, it was Optimus Prime and Megatron, right? It felt like that kind of epic battle. I'm just saying, Seth Rollins needs a clean victory somewhere, somehow. I don't want it to be at the expense of Roman and CM Punk are so enthralled with Paul Heyman that they lose sight of the match. Somewhere Seth Rollins needs to start winning. Somewhere.
And he might very well win this match, but
clean. I want clean.
But
I want a decisive victory.
But I don't know why you needed to be decisive against these two specifically when the story does not call for a decisive victory for anybody. This to me should be the equivalent of all out nuclear war where there is no winner. Where I
like that idea.
Like there's no winner. Like look at how Seth beat CM Punk, right? Do you feel like Seth Rollins won?
No, that's why I'm fighting. No,
that's called scorched earth, where nobody won. Where, yeah, sure, the record books will show that Seth Rollins won, but the real winners were us, Sancho, the fans, and the friends that we made along the way. No, but seriously, like I think what's supposed to be here, what the narrative that they're telling here is that there is no winner in a scorched earth situation. There might be somebody that might be last person standing at the end of all of this, but like at what cost? What did it cost them? What humanity, what physical damage, what mental toll? There is no one that should be walking out of this being like, woo, I'm the winner. I'm now the best out of the three of us. All three of these guys, regardless of who has their hand held up high, should be scorched earth.
So what you need then, if that's the narrative that you want, is everybody has to give up something, right? They need to sacrifice something.
Hey man, it's Naruto versus Sasuke at the end where it was the final fight and they both lost an arm. And no one won. Literally nobody won. It was a tie. And the series basically ended with this amazing fight that was being hyped up for literal decades at this point, Sancho. And the fight ended in a draw with both of these guys basically dead with a lost arm caused by their fight. And they were just sort of sitting there like, man, like, was this worth it? Who won here? Was the end result what we wanted? And that could be what we're getting out of like the Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Roman storyline.
Last of Us 2 spoilers. Giving you a chance. Last of Us 2. At the very end of the game, Last of Us 2, Ellie finally gets what she wants.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
She finally gets what she wants. She gets the character that she's been chasing the entire time dead in her sights.
Yeah, dead to rights. Yeah, literally dead to rights.
She has the opportunity to do it, and she doesn't, right? But in that process, she loses her fingers in the fight. And because of that, she could no longer play guitar, which was her only one connection to her friend Joel. So that's what you mean, right?
Deep,
even though
man.
You win, you lost something, right? You lost something even deeper to the core.
That's what I think the type of match and the type of storyline that they can tell here, this never-ending feud between these guys. Like think about like the things that have happened just between Roman and Seth. Right? The fact that Roman chose revenge, bro, over retaining his title. That's a perfect example of Roman got what he wanted, but at what cost? That's the scorched earth that I'm talking about. That's what we could get out of this feud, where we don't need a happy-go-lucky Seth Rollins one. Yippee! You could have Seth Rollins be standing in the rubble at the end of it all, but then kind of like looking around like, what the hell? What was all of this for?
I hope it they lean into more because they bring up Becky Lynch a lot, right? I kind of want to know if like who said this? Was it CM Punk? He said that he didn't stay at home, that AJ Lee hasn't seen him in a while because it was a Drew McIntyre. I kind of like that notion of that, like bringing that notion of Seth Rollins saying like, you know, I haven't seen my kids, I haven't seen my wife, I'm lasered focused, I'm here to win this. And then for CM Punk to be like, look, I'm all my life I wanted the main event WrestleMania. I got all my eggs in this basket. And then, you know, Roman, like you talked about, sacrificing his title, you know, going for it. And again, they could bring that back to the bloodline, saying like, dude, what are you doing, Roman? You're supposed to be bringing honor and the champion title back. And that gives a perfect thing for Jacob Fatu to come in and be like, I'm here to take that mantle. which is why I'm annoyed that they kind of sunsetted the bloodline for a bit. I think it's gonna be a great triple threat. I think the thing that it sucks though, in comparison to the women's triple threat, there's so much substance in Punk, Seth, and Roman that there's not much for the ladies in Io, Rhea, and Bianca. It's more surface level. And it's one of these feuds, and I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, Santi, if you feel this way too, about some of these feuds. Some feuds, you don't have to do anything. It's here. It's a full course meal. It's delicious. Everything served to you, right? Some feuds, you got to meet like halfway to buy into it. You got to be like, I understand there's not much here, but the match is going to be a banger, so I'm in. Like that's how I feel for a lot of these WrestleMania matches going forward. And I just wish the ladies had a little bit more. I mean, Bianca has stuff going on in her back corner. Rhea is just a champion that lost her belt because she got distracted. And Io is just a solid working champion. So there's like, I wish the ladies were given a little bit more to work with like the dudes do. But the dudes have all that history.
I think the big narrative for the women this time around is the Jade Cargill Naomi storyline, which I'm so in for. But listen, man, like Rhea, Io, and Bianca, they've had 2 episodes of Monday Night Raw to get this hyped, and both have been home runs, in my opinion. The thing between Rhea and Bianca that caused Io Sky to win, and now like that triple promo that led with both of them getting bitch slapped by Io. I thought like what they've done with the little amount of time that they've had has been way more impactful than the 17,000 weeks that they've done with Jey and Gunther thus far.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Now I do believe that Rhea, Io, and Bianca will be about as surface level as it gets as a wrestling feud, but I think it can be a good wrestling feud. And I think we can allow Naomi and Jade Cargill to tell that deeper, more interwoven emotional storyline, which, by the way, has the potential to seep into this storyline as well, because we have the connecting fabric there in Bianca Belair being part of both. I personally really enjoyed what they did with Rhea Ripley, Io, and Bianca. Like, it got me really excited for that match. I love that they kind of played with our expectations, which was, yeah, man, like Bianca and Rhea, they're gonna just little bro Io Sky. And then they did. And then Io's like, nah, and then just annihilates both of them and then walks away with maybe the pop of the night. Like, if you go back and listen to that crowd was going bananas for Io Sky. Honestly, I think they got louder for that than any of the stuff with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. So it was a awesome segment between those three that took advantage of disadvantages. Like, of course, Io can't go toe to toe with Rhea and Bianca on the mic, but so they found the different angle. They found somewhere else where Io Sky could be a star on that level, because it's not with promos. And I feel like they knocked it out of the park, because Rhea looked great in that promo. Bianca looked great in that promo. It got me really excited for that feud. And then it reinserted Io Sky in a way like, yeah, this needs to be a triple threat. I no longer feel like Io Sky is just sort of there for pity. I now need this to be a triple threat, while also getting me excited for the future prospect of just a singles feud between Bianca and Rhea Ripley as well. Now, what I will say is Rhea Ripley needs to just be full heel in this.
Yeah, she needs to join The Rock. I don't think she needs to go all the way, but it'd be fun if she joined The Rock. It'd be exciting for The Rock to talk to her, and maybe she doesn't have to fully be in the faction, but just the idea of like, is she or is she not with The Rock? Like, that's enough for me.
Rhea, wouldn't it be nice if you never had to say mommy is always on top, because it was just a God-given truth that everyone already knew. The king never has to call themselves the king.
Or how about you want to be a Hollywood star, Rhea? I can make that happen for you.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit more on the nose. I was trying to be a little bit cryptic.
Yeah. You were trying to be too rockish. Those rockisms can sometimes
Sancho, I want your soul.
Oh, no.
Damn it, I need your soul.
Oh, wow. I want it all, Santi.
The Patreon, Sancho, all of this, Sancho.
Good Lord. I think the Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair is going to be one of those ones like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, where it's a microwave feud. It'll get us to Mania. It will be one of those ones where you sit down and you definitely have to watch it. I'm just wondering logically, and I know it's not fun to talk logic in wrestling because pro wrestling is very loose on it, but why would Io Sky make it a triple threat unless she wants to prove something, right? That could be her comeuppance as a babyface, be like, you know what, fine, I'll take both of you on. I want to prove that I am better than both of you.
But why is that not good? That's been a good enough narrative in the past. Like, why can't it work here?
It's a strange thing to do. It's like taking like a back-to-back in the NBA when you don't have to take a back-to-back in the NBA, you know? It's like, why hurt your chances of losing at Mania by taking a triple threat where you don't have to get pinned, right? I understand what you're saying. It's a prideful thing, and it's like, oh, that's a pretty badass for the babyface to do that. But I still like it when a babyface is a little bit smart and is not so much so bullish, but that's a babyface, right? Oh, I don't care what the odds are, damn it, I'm gonna beat both of you. And so, you know, I just hate that a lot of the women's booking, and I think that's the complaint or the criticism of Triple H's booking lately for the women is that it's very surface level, and it can be. And I think the women work so hard to work with what they're given with, and they make Triple H look smarter than he is. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I'm laughing because I'm picturing you know, Io Sky saying to both of them, anytime, any place. And I'm picturing you like Solo Sikoa, anytime, any place, when he did that to Motor City Machine Guns.
Telling you, dude.
I miss that Solo. I miss him.
He was going somewhere, dude. He was going somewhere, and people fell in love with the new toy Jacob Fatu. Man, y'all Woody and buzzed him, bro. You had to drop Solo Sikoa.
I'm done with you.
Yeah, dude, he was going somewhere. He'd be like, what did this guy say? You know, like
anytime, any place.
Dog, I'm sure he got some real heat for that because I told you, and I will say this to the mountaintops, that Motor City Machine Guns are corny, brother. They're corny. They overplay their babyface, their pure babyface vanilla vibes, and Solo Sikoa nailed it when he said any place, anytime. So, yes, back to the ladies. They make Triple H look smarter than he is because they are just that damn good.
And it's a shame. Listen, like I'm sold on Rhea, Io, and Bianca. I feel like they've knocked it out of the park with just the 2 weeks that they've had. But then I look at the other side. I look at Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
Other side.
And the grass is not greener on the other side on this one, brother. Like that is also like weird. Like you've had so much time to tell a good story, and it was a ready-made story that they had right there. I'm Charlotte Flair. I'm the institution. I'm the New York Yankees of this. You're what? The Oakland A's? You're just getting your feet wet here, and you think you can go up against the freaking Yankees?
More like the Patriots and Giants.
Bro, it's the same freaking analogy. You just took the same. It's basically the same thing, man. Whatever, man. You're just trying to steal my thunder.
Patriots and Giants is a lot cooler than the Yankees and Oakland A's.
Whatever, man. That's not the point. The point isn't about what teams. The point is that they had the perfect story of this. I'm so much better than you veteran versus this up and comer, and they haven't told that story at all.
Is this a safe place?
Usually it's not, but you tend to believe that it is.
Would you enjoy a story where Tiffany Stratton is so enamored with Charlotte that she's like more infatuated with her, that she wants to be her and she wants to impress her, that she's like more of a not a happy-go-lucky, but a babyface that's like, oh, I'm looking forward to her on WrestleMania because I want to be the queen type of vibe, right? Like,
yeah, that's called Trish Stratus versus Mickie James, and it was awesome, and it was a great WrestleMania feud. There we go. And now that one went real deep, real much farther with the infatuation. Like I remember, it definitely got like weirdly sexual, but like I remember like cool moments like Tiffany Trish. Oh my God, Mickie James going out there for a match with a blonde wig and dressed like Trish Stratus, and it was like, and like she thought she was like impressing Trish, but she was being like mad weird. It's a different story, but like you can do similar vibes to this where it's just like, oh my God, like I am starstruck. This is the person that I'm trying to emulate. And then, you know, you have like Charlotte Flair just kind of like basically spitting at her. I think like that you could tell something interesting there, but they haven't even tried to tell anything. No, funny enough, when the first proper bullet fire was was Charlotte Flair attacking the back of Tiffany Stratton's knee. Before that, it was Charlotte Flair just kind of like scoffing, standing over her like, oh God, I can't believe this is the match that I have to have. Tiffany just has no chance. She just doesn't even understand what she's getting into.
Yeah.
I thought that was a better narrative than Charlotte actually attacking her. I almost wish Charlotte never laid hands on her. Like, you're not even worthy of me putting hands on you. And that it was Tiffany like looking for this fight. And I feel like they kind of lost it with Charlotte being the first one to attack Tiffany Stratton. They lost whatever semblance of a decent storyline that they had, because now we're back to zero, and it's weird to be back at zero when you've already been trying to build this for over a month.
I have a confession to make. I'm riddled with the disease, just riddled. There's a lot of E-Fed in me, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I just basically said the story of Mariah May and Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what I want to see here. I want to see a retelling of it, because Mariah May and Toni Storm is
amazing.
It's amazing.
I think it's the best women's story I've ever seen.
Right. The young protege, Tiffany Stratton, wanting to impress Toni Storm. Granted, the way they did it was like, you know, Mariah May was more like a valet, and she was just like pining over Toni Storm. She idolized her, and then all of a sudden turned on the dime, right? It was like a heel turn.
Literally.
A
literal heel turn.
Obliterated Toni Storm with a heel, which is probably my favorite women's segment of all time. For the WWE, I want to say that I want Tiffany to idolize Charlotte, to give an opportunity to maybe do the crying game type of thing where she's wearing her robes and she's doing the figure eight, things like that, because it just needs something, another layer to it. It feels very babyface, pure babyface, and that's not what Tiffany does at her best. Tiffany's at her best when she's a mean girl.
I agree.
It's so good.
I
it's
agree.
So good. So like treat Charlotte Flair like the aging mean girl. Like, I'm the new mean girl on the block, and I'm going here to prove it to you. Like, you're so. There's nothing like when you're on the internet, Santi, and someone who's younger dresses you down. It is so like, you go, what am I doing on the internet?
Still? Yeah. Dude, when you get the unk comments, it's like, what the hell?
What am I doing here? Because it's oddly enough, because when I see people my age running around, and I'm at, I don't know, some kid's birthday party, and there's someone my age, I'm like, ugh, you're not cool. You know what I mean? Like, I can't talk to you about wrestling or video games, because, you know, I'm still, I guess, a child at heart. But they're people my age, right? They have my same responsibilities. Meanwhile, I'm sure it's the same when I run around. Hey, how's it going, kids? It's like,
hey,
oh my
fellow
God.
kids, you're just Steve. You're Steve Buscemi with the fellow kids meme.
I know, and it's like, I'm sure it's like that when, you know, we roll around the block. But that is what they could have done here. They could have done the Gen Z dress down of Charlotte Flair, and they would have been fun. It would have been a, like I said, a new way for a babyface to get over on the heel.
But Jade Cargill, Bianca Naomi, that is not surface level. That was awesome. An absolutely awesome segment between those three. That is the best women's storyline going on right now in the WWE. Listen, like,
but to be fair,
yeah,
WWE didn't really give them much. It's the women. It's the women that nailed it, dude.
This was one of those where people are like, see, let Papa H cook. I'm like, no. Do not let them get away with the fact that they put this story on ice and borderline killed it for several months. Do not let them get away with it just because the end result could be good. You should be expecting goodness through and through. I'm a firm believer in that. But what we have right now is fantastic. What a great promo between Bianca and Naomi. Their own rendition of "I did it for The Rock, I did it for you, B." Oh man, like I believed Naomi. I believe Naomi and her motivations. I believe that Naomi wasn't being vindictively evil. That she felt like there was fair justification for her actions and what she did. And I feel like part of the reason isn't the actual reasons that she laid out, but the emotional performance that she brought to the table. And same with Bianca, man, like the crying, the almost like hysterical talking over one another, where Naomi was just trying so hard to have her voice heard as Bianca's just like not having it, and you can like barely make out what they're saying because they're talking over each other. I'm like, that's real. That's real. It's not just my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. That's how a real argument that would get this emotional would actually go. And I'm like, brother, this is cinema. I've completely bought in. And then Jade Cargill coming out there with the blood spattered like white bodysuit, looking like $1,000,000. We're getting kind of like the approval from Bianca Belair, like, yeah, go do your thing. Like, I'm not gonna stop you. Great beatdown. I don't know, did you notice that as she was getting hit with the jaded, by her I mean Naomi, she's yelling out for Bianca's name? Ah, man, just beautiful execution of that of this storyline now. And like you said, I don't think it's because they were given something good. I think this is the women demonstrating that they should be given more storylines like this.
Man, what a weird 2 years of WWE, that so many good people, John Cena, Naomi, The New Day, all turning heel.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of strange. Even Kevin Owens turned heel, I suppose. Well, that's not a big surprise.
Yeah, that's you turn a switch.
It's very, very Big Show-esque there. But yeah, I love the segment to say the exact same things. When a wrestler could get vulnerable, I think that speaks volumes to their ability and their trust and their security in themselves. It's not easy to be that vulnerable in front of people. And I think Naomi really was the thing that kind of brought that home. You know, when she turned around and she said yes, and the two single tears coming down her face. Really, really solid. And I like what Jade did. Jade is like someone who's just this menacing presence that's what's needed in this feud. I'm just hoping that after all is said and done, that Bianca just needs to like come out of this like a shooting star and go back into where she belongs, into that stratosphere. And I like that Naomi was saying that, like, because what Santi, what always works in promos, Santi? What always works is when one wrestler speaks for us, right?
The Drew McIntyre promos.
The Drew McIntyre promos, like the Greek chorus in a play where they speak for the audience, and Naomi spoke for us. We all said it. Jade Cargill's holding down Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair's babysitting her. Bianca Belair has an opportunity as herself and a superstar, as a character, to speak from her heart, to respond to all the haters, to say, no, I was not babysitting her. You know, we were coming up together. Like, and there's some tug and pull in there. So I love that the WWE had the opportunity to kind of bring this home, and they landed the plane for this feud. And I'm looking forward to Mania. I don't know if it's going to be. It can't be a triple threat, of course, because Bianca's busy. But Jade Cargill Naomi needs to be a squash match. But it'd be unfortunate because heel Naomi would be interesting. But this doesn't feel like a heel. Doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, she felt like in her emotions justified, even though she's wrong. I could be like, I could see, if I were to step in her shoes, why she thinks that what she did was a net good.
Her LED little boots. You stepped into those.
Dude, a Naomi entrance is so... I experienced one. What a good time. You did? Well, yeah, at Elimination Chamber. It's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. Uh-oh. I almost forgot how to spell it. I had to pause there for a second.
So... I think, like, I don't foresee like a change in clothes. I don't foresee a change in demeanor, moveset. It's just more of like whose side are you on type of vibe. Are you on Jade's side or are you on Naomi's side? And the sad thing is though, I don't think we're gonna get a very well versed or eloquent response from Jade, which I don't think you need. But I wish Jade's promo skills were on the same level as Bianca and Naomi, and I hope she learned something from watching them work. because man, imagine if Jade would come out and be like, "You hurt me, Naomi. I thought we were together, the big three. You told me all these stories. You were gonna have my back. You know, it's supposed to be me and Bianca, but then you came along." And that's what I wanted. Remember Santi last year and Mania? I was like, bro, these should keep these three together and let them freebird the title.
Yeah, I remember that. All right. Well, you know what's crazy? Usually when something like this would happen, it'd be closer to our opening segment, but here we are.
What can I say?
There
LA
it is.
Knight
There it
is the United States champion. Brother, the reason why is because I'm trying to get people to watch our show. If I go ahead and let the glaze out early, people just run out the door. Sometimes you got to have pomp and circumstance. You think I wore this LA hat on accident? Not so fast, my friend. It is the one and only LA Knight overcoming the odds. Let's talk about those odds, Santi. 1, Charles Robinson, poison misted face, bam, gets out the ring like, oh my goodness, this is not looking good for LA Knight. Overcoming the odds of Shinsuke Nakamura doing some crazy move.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That, you know what that was? That was a Tekken move. That was a straight up Tekken move.
Yeah. Good old axe kick to the back. Nah, that does not keep down the megastar. And not only getting the BFT on the chair, hitting it the hard way, but getting the long 3 count, getting that referee running, sliding in, and still getting the what a world that we live on. You know what I'm saying? People say, hey, the X, Y, and Z is better when this is happening in the world. You know what? X, Y, and Z is better when LA Knight is your United States champ. You know, no more of this Spirit Halloween, get out of here, discounted Scream Ass, get out of here, Chuck E. Cheese, all that kind of stuff. Nah. We are full production, 100% organic, natural, glazes a pumping. Would you like to work with us? It doesn't matter if you want to work with us, Santi, because we're already fully staffed, brother. We are fully staffed and we are operating at 100% efficiency. Baby.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. Look, man, we need a working champion. And you know what else we need? The train doesn't stop there. You think LA Knight is going to stop there? Throw LA Knight with The Rock and John Cena.
Oh my God. I will leave. I will leave.
Hollywood LA Knight. Yeah. Can you imagine?
No,
the
nobody
LA
wants
Knight
that.
Side by side with The Rock and John Cena. Oh, I'm sorry. This man has history with John Cena. You remember? John Cena goes, let me give you my hand to give you the John Cena rub. And then LA Knight, being the man, all man that he is, with his hairy pecs, looked at John Cena and go like, I don't need your dumb handshake. And all of a sudden, John's like, I insist. Please shake my hand because my brittle ego won't handle it if you don't shake my hand. And LA Knight reluctantly shook his hand. So why don't we just put all of them together in a faction, brother, and let LA Knight be the mouthpiece? Yeah, for the Hollywood faction. Come on, dude. Come on.
Wow,
Santi,
that sucks ass. Nobody wants
Come
that.
on.
Nobody wants that.
Hey, someone is always looking for a good time, brother. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you do. One man's trash is another man's treasure, my buddy. And you say this is trash? Well, it's treasure to me. And I don't. Hey, if you left this podcast, sucks on you. We already got an hour of your time. I love it. Hey, you remember that time where you like, hey, why don't you tell the people about how you feel about LA Knight winning the championship at our watch parties? I'm like, I'm not giving away the glaze for free. No.
This was the $5. This is the premium $5 glaze.
Yes,
if you're watching this on YouTube or podcast services, you're getting 3-day-old crusty glaze.
3-day-old crusty, and that stuff. You know, you don't want that. You want the premium. And by the way, what happened right after that? Remember what I asked you if you're feeling better? You remember that?
You told me it doesn't matter how you feel.
It doesn't matter if you're feeling better. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? What's the plan with LA Knight as United States champion? Was this just a reset of the division? Because one of the things that I've noticed and I've said and been vocal about is that the division was healthy even without the champion being there. And now we have a champion that's Sancho, you are ridiculous. Take those off.
I can't see. The LA Knight is blocking my vision, but this helps.
You say we have a working champion now. What does this mean for the division? Like, what kind of feuds are we getting? Or are we just kind of destined to have a multi-man match at WrestleMania for this title without a good, substantial story?
Oh, dude, we're going to get a 6-pack challenge for it, and we're going to get a ladder match, and Matt Cardona is going to enter and win. Hey, I didn't ask if it was a safe place, but that's my booking.
That is booking.
Yeah, sure is.
That is one of the bookings of all time.
Is my fantasia, my friend. No, I don't know, dude. Still the problem is, and it will always be the problem for SmackDown is when you got the undisputed Cody Rhodes running around, there's no room for you to move. You ever worked at a job that the glass ceiling is so low that it suffocates you? When you feel like you clock into work, that a little bit of your soul leaves you, and then
that part I believe, that I've had,
and then you're just waiting there, and so you immediately clock in and go, when's my lunch break? That is the kind of thing that it is to be the United States champion on SmackDown, my friend. You're just waiting for your lunch break. You're waiting for something to happen because without any bodies, there's no bodies on SmackDown for LA Knight to do anything.
No, I disagree. They're like, you've got the Jacob Fatu's of the world. Solo is there. Jimmy. Like, if you really wanted to, you could have done something with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Like, the bodies are there. That was part of the complaint I had about Shinsuke Nakamura's run, is that the bodies were there and they were doing nothing with those bodies regarding the United States title. But those bodies were doing cool things, like Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. They were doing cool stuff in the SmackDown mid card. Don't do your Braun Strowman impression. I can only handle the LA Knight glaze. I cannot immediately have it followed up by your Braun Strowman impression, because you can only do it if you say I'm Braun Strowman at some point or another, because otherwise you can't do it and it just sounds like Jason Statham. Do your Braun Strowman impression without saying I'm Braun Strowman.
You made snot come out of my nose.
Okay, that's pretty good.
A little bit of snot booger came right out. Anyway, I'm Braun Strowman. Look, man, I agree with you. There's bodies there, but I feel that they're not in the LA Knight neighborhood.
They can be now. They can be now.
They can be now, but they're not going to. Why bring in the Damian Priest and then have him feud randomly with Drew? What are they fighting for? That's what. When people go, why are you so upset about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest? Because there's nothing to fight over for. They're just feuding for a surface level feud because Damian Priest has a problem that he's whining and complaining, and Drew McIntyre is just...
I agree. Like, and I'm not even saying like, this needs to be for a title or for an opportunity. Like, there's no good story. There's no good rationale as to why we should be fine with these guys having a WrestleMania match.
So to answer your question, what's next for LA Knight? I wouldn't mind LA Knight defending that title against TNA Superstars.
That'd be cool.
To get an open challenge type of vibe again. I think that's always worked well for the United States title. It was working for LA Knight. Have him go up against NXT guys. Have him go up against TNA guys, just to get some new bodies in there with LA Knight. Because, like I mentioned, Drew, Damian, that doesn't do it for me, because those guys feel like they belong in the heavyweight title. Truthfully, I would have loved LA Knight to be on Monday Night Raw, because then he could go up against the Gunthers of the world. But
okay,
I don't know why that's not a path for LA Knight.
I don't mind the idea of LA Knight with TNA or with NXT if it wasn't this close to WrestleMania. Like, that's stuff that you do in the lull periods. It's not stuff that you do in the lead up to WrestleMania.
What if it was LA Knight versus Joe Henry? I mean, just to throw it out there.
They won't put Joe Hendry at WrestleMania. Like, it's just not a realistic. It's not realistic booking. Like, if you were talking about like, okay, that might be in the lead up to like a Payback or a B tier PLE. They're not going to spend time and effort building up a TNA guy for a WrestleMania match. They're just not going to. So I want realistic options. I want realistic options at this point of the year going into WrestleMania.
Time out. Zach Morris. Look, dude, what if LA Knight said, I'll fight anybody at Mania. And then say his name reappears, music hits.
Don't think so.
You're not on board. You're not
No,
on board.
it's not that I'm not on board. I'm just I'm looking at things from a realistic point of view, and that's just not realistic. Like, there's been no indicator that the TNA partnership, one, is big enough to seep into the main roster, and now you're suggesting it seeps into WrestleMania. That's a hodgepodge of like where you need all of those extra bodies. WrestleMania is not the same thing. And it wasn't as if Joe Hendry got a match at the Royal Rumble. He got a 3-minute appearance at the Royal Rumble.
Roman Reigns.
Dude, you are nuts if you think that that's good enough or that is or justification to get a TNA guy into a WrestleMania match or feud. Wild reach.
Or LA Knight, I think.
Wild reach. No, wild reach. Like I said, if it was to the buildup of anything else, maybe, but not WrestleMania.
You know what? You remind me of my child. All right, my
logical, smart.
Wrong. You remind me of my 3-year-old boy. He says he's hungry. I go, you know what, son? How about these bag of chips? He says no. How about some blueberries, son? He says no. How about strawberries? How about yogurt? What you want? Pancakes, waffles? I give you options.
You gave me Joe Hendry.
At the end of the day, you're not hungry for LA Knight.
No,
go to your room. Go to bed.
There is food. There is food that you are not offering me. There is the actual food in the SmackDown mid-card refrigerator that you're not offering.
Oh, you want day old Andrade? You want old Mello? You want Miz that we've already been there? Get out of here. You can't have leftovers. I'm offering fresh opportunities of excitement, and you sit there, you say, ooh, I don't see it realistically up to Mania. They put the belt on EO a month before Mania. So, anything could happen, brother.
No, TNA is not happening at WrestleMania at all. The only
how about Ethan Page? Give me Ethan Page then.
If it's a call up, I'm in. If it's just an NXT crossover feud. Like, if you're gonna call up Ethan Page, and I will take that 1,000,000%.
Let Ethan Page be the Ant-Man of this world and let him just cross over for a second. Okay. Remember when Ant-Man showed up in Civil War and he said Captain America, how excited he was? That's what I want Ethan Page. Just let it happen. Okay. Not everything has to be call up. All right, man. What it sounds like to me is you're an LA Knight hater and you don't want him to succeed. You want him to go up against a Damian Priest or whatever. And you want good old Damian to be like, what's going on, LA Knight? What are you doing? I'm the Street King. I don't want that. Dog, I'm not a Damian Priest hater.
That should be his Def Rebel like opening mantra. That's what instead of all rise, it's I'm Damian Priest, the Street Fighter.
Street King.
Street King, whatever, man. Who fucking cares what his moniker is? No one gives a shit.
I don't hate Damian Priest. I'm trying to reiterate that. And people like it's interesting. Like I forgot where it was. Probably in our Patreon comments, were like, "Why are people hating on Damian Priest?" It's like, I don't hate him. I just hate his booking. It's so weird and bad and strange, and it killed Finn Balor and it killed Judgment Day. You know what they should have done? They should have kicked Damian Priest out of Judgment Day. Like, do the whole Edge thing and that would have been a great launch point for Damian versus him choosing to leave the Judgment Day on his own with Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? Like, let me get some sympathy. Let me get some heat on Judgment Day for kicking out Damian. Instead, it's like, well, Dad left. He's not coming back. Like, that's what happened with Damian Priest. He just left. Makes no sense.
All right. Well, let's talk about more factions. LWO and the New Day, and a new mystery opponent has entered the building. Great tornado tag team match between LWO and the New Day. New Day picking up the victory. I hope this is the end of their feud, and this sends the New Day into the actual tag team division. They got the win. They got the win over Rey Mysterio. Like, what do you want them to get out of this?
I want a Mania match, brother.
No, man.
I want a Mania match with LWO, American Made, and New Day. I want all that to happen.
For what?
For fun? I don't know. For funsies?
That sucks, man. Go back to the drawing board. That sucks ass. New Day should be going after the tag titles.
What if you had Rey Fenix?
Oh,
What if
to what faction? Add him to American Made, and then maybe what faction do you want to add him to, Sancho? Tell us, what faction do you want to add Rey Fenix to, and let's see how much of a big pop you get for this. Go ahead, lay it out. What faction should Rey Fenix join?
The Latino World Order.
No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
LWO.
Dude, LWO and New Day should be done. It's over. The New Day got the thing that they wanted, which was to beat and pin Rey Mysterio. They did it. Have them go after the tag titles now. Be part of the tag team.
War Raiders.
I mean, it's better than just spinning wheels against hat guy, no hat guy, and dudes with masks. Like, there's nothing left for them to do there. They didn't tell a single... Listen, the New Day's promos suck ass, dude. They are so bad now. It's like comically bad, not even in the way that it's like, oh, it's meant to be bad. It's week in, week out, your sports team sucks. This other sports team... Shut up, I'm talking. Adults are talking. Rival sports team over there, they're better, and you just don't like us because we're right. Thank God for the New Day. Awful. Send them out of this program, out of this feud, into where they belong, which is the tag team division, where they can win gold. They can actually be entertaining heels, chasing gold, being nefarious, being champions, because what they've been doing since the most wasted heel turn of all time, the most wasted awful heel turn of all time. The heel turn wasn't awful. The execution beyond the heel turn was absolutely atrocious and terrible. And Sancho, I'm off this stupid ass New Day train. Off of it. Off of it. I don't even want to be on it. I've dove head first out of this train because you sold me a fake bill of goods with this terrible ass New Day with a look. I love Mega Ran, I do, but the entrance theme is not good. It doesn't work. This new promo style of the New Day sucks ass. The only good thing right now about the New Day are their actual matches, and they should be having actual good matches in the tag team division where they can actually flourish. They've done nothing with this horrible tag team except disappoint us time after time after time. The best heel turn of 2024 turned into the most disappointing tag team of the goddamn year. I'm off of this train. I'm over with American Made. Gracias. That's where I am now. That's the train I'm in. I put in my Bitcoin on Ivy Nile, on Brutus and Julius, and now El Chadador. Muchas gracias, Toto Americano. I'm done with the New Day. They suck. They faked me out into thinking I should get on this train. And the only reason I got on this train was because of the one good thing that they did, which was the heel turn. Everything before that was ass. Everything after the heel turn has been ass, Sancho. And I jumped on this stupid fucking train because of the one heel turn, the one good segment that they had, and now it's just ass. I'm done. Put it on. Put it on. I don't care. I don't want to be part of this stupid ass train anymore. Put that on.
You know, actually, I think the reason why you're like this is your international Netflix. Hear me out. I don't get those promos. I don't get the cheap heat promos. I don't get them dogging anybody because that's what they always do on commercial break. You're getting the house show experience.
No. I'm gonna stop you right now because that is false. Because all the other commercial promos that happen throughout the show are great. The only ones that suck ass and take the steam out of the entire show are the New Day promos. Sancho, if it's being aired, it's fair game. If you're not going to bring something good to the table, don't bring it at all. I don't want your bum ass, crappy ass mac and cheese that you made out of the box at this potluck if that's what you're going to bring. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you said it. I am a man that respects your opinion. So
I don't want you to respect it. I want you to hate it. I want you to fight.
Nah. I like it when I give you the shovel and you just keep digging and digging. Because, hey, what did Triple H do? At any moment, he can fix anything.
But but like for real though, what he fixed it for a day, for a singular day, where I was like, oh my, dude, it was your number one moment of the year. It was
Yes,
what it was in my top 5. It was one of the best moments of the year. And you as the biggest fan of all of this, and I was a huge fan of the actual heel turn, you have to be disappointed with what they've done with them post heel turn. It has not been good. It has been a giant letdown to one of the coolest moments of 2024.
I think that what it seems to me that's happened is they're waiting for something. And I think what definitely did hurt them the most is not being in the ring after the heel turn. Remember, they were like waiting and waiting and waiting. They would come out, boo, and they would leave. And that was crappy. They got really cold. I'm enjoying this new presentation of New Day. I do like the theme song, A New Day. Nah. It feels very Mortal Kombat-ish, which is their realm. I enjoy that.
Their theme song's not my problem. I was just trying to dig in. The theme song's fine. I was just trying to be a negative Nancy.
I had to figure. I'm pulling the threads here at your promo, right? You want me to fight? I'm fighting. Okay. What I feel like where the New Day is lacking is I don't think they need gold. I mean, the prestige and all that's great, but they need to be a problem in the WWE. And I've said this before, let them fight for the WWE locker room control. If they could be a problem backstage and cause real issues, lean into that comedic side that we all love and that they're known for, they could have great times. So you don't have a problem with their in-ring. Their in-ring's great, right?
No, oh my God, no. Their matches have been great so far. Actually, It's been a little bit of a renaissance. Funny enough, not that I think this would fix it, but I feel like New Day would be better served in the Jey Uso feud than A-Town Down Under.
Right. So it's the problem is, Santi, is that I think that you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the New Day came off that heel turn and you're expecting them to give them the world to justify how strong they are now, right? In their mind, in their heel turn, they said, we're doing this because we don't need you, Big E, and now that we cut you off, we're stronger, right? We cut the Wink Leak off, and now we're going to be the strong heel faction. And then they did nothing to prove that. And then when they finally appeared on the scene, they haven't been this dominant force, right? They haven't been given the keys to the kingdom. And they're in this weird spot. And I think because you can't have them lose or that you can't show any weakness, then that's why they can't put them with Jey Uso, right?
But they've been losing. They before LWO, right. they were losing every match.
Right. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, that they weren't given the kingdom. So that's why you're like, wait a minute. You just pulled off. You just you burned the entire village for that. You're not happy with the results. And I get that.
It's been bad results.
I understand. You know what? It's okay. You did it. This is a safe place.
Yeah, I backflipped off the train, brother, by the way. I've somersaulted right into the ocean.
You said head first, so I'm asking you, are you off this train forever?
I'm off. Okay. Yeah, I'm off.
Okay. I just want for the record, you don't want to be on this train ever?
I'm good. I'm good. Here's the thing. I was allowed on the train during the peak, and it's not going to get better than that.
I let you on before the turn, though. Remember that? Remember?
Was it before the turn?
Yep.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah. That it's clear to me that it's not going to get better than that. I've already witnessed the best thing that they could possibly do. They've burned the best thing that they had available to them, and unfortunately, they did not use it in such a way to actually elevate this team. They've somehow gotten more and more uninteresting. And listen, I understand where you're coming from. When you say these are the house show promos, you're not supposed to. These are the cheap heat promos. I'm sorry, but if it's on TV, it's fair game to criticize. And when I look at the other quote house show promos, they are all infinitely better than what the New Day is putting forward. If the New Day is putting forward house show promos on Netflix, then they should absolutely be criticized for how bad they are. If they're bad on purpose, then it's a bad strategy, Cotton.
So if Big E comes back, gets involved, no. You're still off.
I think that they missed the window on where that could have been awesome. I really think so. I feel like the Big E return, the electricity of it had to be within this build up to WrestleMania, within the build up to the Royal Rumble. Brother, like, it's not even as if, oh, Big E hasn't even returned. Big E doesn't even like acknowledge this during his work with the WWE. They don't even acknowledge what's happened between the New Day and Big E at all in these kickoff shows. They did like one time, and then that's it. Like, to me, what I never expected, me personally, I never expected it or continue to expect Big E to return. I think he's retired. I really do. So in my head, I was like, this is just removing the baggage to allow this New Day to evolve into something new without the question always looming of when is Big E coming back? And now, unfortunately, as you're seeing, and you basically did it right here, as you're seeing this play out and it's not very good, we're back to bringing the baggage back. Well, what about when Big E comes back? But the whole point of this was for allowing these guys to do something without the baggage of Big E. So if the only way to make this interesting is to bring Big E back, then this heel turn and what they were trying to accomplish with it has been a colossal failure.
What if I give you this? I'm writing on a piece of paper. It's a name. I'm folding it. I slide it over to you. You open it. And it says
Trish Stratus.
Ridge.
No,
Holland.
that I still think missed window. It would be so late at this point because, imagine the Ridge Holland move the week after they kick up Big E. That's the move. Now we're so far removed that now bringing it back, Ridge Holland would literally be like, hey, remember that like really organic heat from 6 months ago? Can we get some of that back? It
sounded like Ray at the very beginning.
Hey, remember when we turned on Big E and everyone hated us and it was one of the coolest things of the year? Can we get some of that heat back?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they didn't even get heat for hurting Ray. And that happened off air.
Another mistake. Why? Off air. Dumb.
Okay, so you just sound like to me, we made this New Day dish and you promised that you said, hey, we're going to start eating in more, start making our own food. And then you tasted it and you're like, I don't want it anymore. Throw it away. I want to go order out.
I think so. I think
that's a good little.
I'm far more interested in LWO versus American Made at this point.
Don't you hate that though? When you make a meal and then it's just terrible and it just tastes awful, but you've committed like an hour to making it.
I've had that. I've also had that at not like food that I make, but like there are places that I can't remember the name of the place, but like you could make you can pick your different flavors for a smoothie. And then like I was like, oh, I think this combination will be good. And it tastes like diapers. And you're like, this is delicious. And it's just like, no, this isn't it. I've had that before.
Wow. You know what's worse though, is when you decide to go try out a Michelin restaurant in your town and you're thinking like, okay, this has to be the fine life of dining, right? And you pay oodles of money and it's probably one of your only date nights. And then the food is just terrible.
Yeah, man.
Awful. And you're like, why am I paying over when I could go down the street, get myself a $20 steak and it'd be delicious?
Dude, that's you know what that's called though, Sancho. That's at least I've been told this because I feel the same way. I find that fine dining and expensive restaurants are usually garbage. It's you and we have poor people taste. I think we have poor people tongues. It's what it is.
It's just like you in this New Day. You have
I have a poor people palate. There's a story of a famous story that went around in Colombia from the cartel days. Pablo Escobar became very, very rich.
Okay. Are you in your taker and review mentality right
now?
No.
There's no depth in this. This is just interesting because him and a lot of people that were traditionally poor became very rich.
Yes.
And there is very delicious traditional poor people food from Colombia that's now kind of become like the dishes of Colombia. That's usually where national dishes come from. It's the working class, the poor people of a country. They come up with a dish.
The Cobb salad.
Sure. they became rich, and then for this big block party that they threw in what was a traditionally poor neighborhood, Pablo got like all of the best chefs in the planet. We're talking like 5-star chefs, the best food, the best caviar, and they all hated it. Everyone hated it because like, where's the arepa and the huevos? Where's the carne asada? Where is the poor people food that we grew up loving? It's because they didn't have the palate for, $10,000 caviar. And I think that's you and me, brother. We don't have that taste palate.
That's true. I love a good $20 steak. Salt and pepper is all I need.
Are you a ketchup guy on your steak?
No.
Okay, good. All right. We would have had to get a divorce.
What's your medium rare, medium? What is it?
If I'm trying to have the best steak, I go with medium rare. If I think that is the best, that is the best cooking heat, but I will sometimes get rare, sometimes, depending on how I feel, sometimes. But medium rare is where it's at.
What's wrong with you?
Sometimes I like to see my meat moo.
Oh, you mean? You're so dumb.
We have a new luchador in the building.
Toto Americano.
Toto Americano. Weird of Kathy Kelly to assume that was Chad Gable. Honestly, he should probably sue her. There was zero evidence.
Brother.
Defamation of character, absolutely.
Exactly.
And there was proof in the pudding that was not Chad Gable. First of all, if you go back and watch the replay, he said gracias. Chad Gable, no evidence that he speaks Spanish. No evidence whatsoever.
On the vignette, he was struggling to communicate with people.
Exactly.
And when he was down in Mexico, he was struggling.
Exactly. Yeah. And that masked assailant, because that's what he was, this masked invader of WWE Monday Night Raw, trespasser, very clear Hispanic with his language, very, very strong dominance of the Spanish language with gracias. Right.
Yes, you boldly are.
And we saw behind Chad Gable the very same perpetrator being carried out. So how could anyone with a sane brain believe that was Chad Gable? Absolutely libelous, slanderous, liars, fake news.
And who could say that a man could master the arts of lucha in one day?
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Can't do that. It requires a lot more. And may I add, bright shoes on the gentleman that was Toto Americano.
Americano.
Have you ever seen Chad Gable pull a Bronco Buster Hurricanrana before?
Never. I mean, like, if this is a guy that wants to study under Master Gable, that's a different story. I could believe that.
Very strong chaos theory from this Master Luchador.
Absolutely.
A frame job. Definitely.
Some could say.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts on this new luchador and where this could go? Like, are we looking at this new masked perpetrator joining American Made? Are we looking at American Made versus LWO at WrestleMania? Or do you think that this frame job could lead to Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio one-on-one? What would you prefer here?
I would love for this masked luchador to kind of be a think piece, so to speak, on the WWE and LWO and Latino wrestlers. I would love Toto Americano to want to join LWO and want to be a part of it and be like, look, I was trying to impress you, Ray.
LWO, say, can you see?
Yeah, I want this. I want Toto Americano to want to be in LWO because he understands the art of wrestling and the luchador. He's like, this is where I go, right? I'm in the WWE. I join you, right, Ray? And then maybe I turn against you, but still, here I am, part of this new faction, Luchador, LWO. I would love for them to make fun of that because it's something that everybody tends to. Because when Penta was rumored to show up, I was like, no. Oh, I know. Dude, that's when the New Day train derailed. Remember? New Day was going to go against Ray with a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent was supposed to be Penta, and then the entire internet said, no, keep him away from Ray, and they kiboshed that and put him away. So, I love you. So that is where the New Day train derailed. But I'm hoping that this new masked luchador finds a little haven with LWO, or at least wants to be, because I think that'd be hilarious. And Ray would be like, what do you mean? Are you crazy? Estás loco? It's the kind of
Oh
stuff.
god. Let's start to wrap things up here with some of the smaller stuff that happened. It seems like they've forgotten about AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker. They've completely moved on from this. Braun Breaker
Oh,
is
it's
now a
Finn Balor
babyface.
now.
Yeah, it's Finn Balor now. Braun Breaker is a full-blown babyface, but now we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I didn't think that was like the greatest of segments. I thought I would have liked more between AJ and Logan, like an actual conversation between them. This felt like a segment that would happen after their second or third confrontation. This being their first confrontation, I felt was a bit lackluster. But Logan Paul is Logan Paul, entertaining as ever, heat magnet as ever. AJ Styles look great. I think this is just going to be a good match. I think that's what we're gunning for here. Just a good match.
It's one of those ones where I feel like AJ is like, I need a Mania opponent, and AJ. Did you listen to the Chris Van Vliet interview he had with AJ Styles?
Not all of it.
Oh,
What are we missing
So
here?
just it feels like he did reveal that he's not going to wrestle past 50,
I remember that. Yeah, I saw that.
and I think like the vibe that I got from AJ Styles is that he just wants to have banger matches, and the banger match on the table would be a Logan Paul, and I think he sees like, hey, we can mix, we have great styles, no pun intended, and they're going to be able to put on one of the, maybe it could steal whatever night they're on. If it's on night 2, no, but if it's a night 1, they could probably steal the momentum of it. It'll definitely overshadow Jey and Gunther, just on the spectacle of it. And I think it's going to be really, really cool. And it could really work promo wise well as well, because AJ Styles is a Southern boy, and he's like, a little, he could appear himself as a little, plunky, while Logan Paul could just be that guy who's like, oh, you're just a dumb guy that doesn't know anything about this business. I'm the guy that's going to overshadow you. I'm the one that runs this place type of vibe.
Yeah, this can be pretty surface level, and I think we'll be fine with it. It doesn't need to get particularly very deep. One of the things that I said coming out of the men's chamber is that everyone except Logan Paul came out with their Mania feud, but I was like, Logan Paul didn't need to come out with one, because you could literally snap your finger and give anyone the Logan Paul feud for WrestleMania, and everybody would be in. And I think everybody's in for this.
You think what's Logan's best feud? Was it Roman or Cody or LA Knight? Those are the 3 that comes out to mind for me.
I would say the LA Knight feud.
I kind of liked him against Ray. There was something there in the first one, right? Like in like the idea of Dom wanting to be with Logan, like there was something there that could have gone a little bit
didn't dive enough into that aspect.
Right. It was too young in Logan's career, and Ray's is awful on the microphone to bring that out. But I feel that for Logan Paul, because what I'm trying to get at is like, does he need to be deeper than that? I'm going to go ahead and call it from a mile away. His deepest feud is going to be against The Rock, but that may never happen. I mean, it was interesting to hear him say, hey, you're so dumb, Cody. You should have took The Rock's deal. I would have taken The Rock's deal. For that promo, I thought that was so... I thought I would never hear the day that Logan would say he wanted to be with The Rock, because he'd been burned so deeply by The Rock. But it's interesting to hear that Logan's willing to be professional and play ball. Because when people in the video, I took apart the, we were talking about who can join The Rock and John Cena. And then there were some people in the comments on our TikTok. If you should follow our TikTok page, the Wrestling School Pod, on TikTok said a lot of people said Logan Paul could join in that third to be the mouthpiece while they're absent. And I'm like, that's interesting, but there's a lot of history and baggage with Rock. So it was interesting to me to see that Logan was like, yeah, I would have sold my soul, but it's like a heel thing to say. I feel like every heel of the WWE is saying that, right?
That's
Pick me, Rock.
Yeah, that's the Carmelo Hayes. It's been the go-to. Right now, the go-to is, if you're a babyface, lambast John Cena. If you're Randy Orton, I guess you could make the gay jokes. You got away with those with the "You're the Rock's bottom" now.
I'm sure they cut that out of when they put it on YouTube.
I don't think they're going to be playing replays of that. No. And then every heel be like, I would have taken the Rock's offer. Like it's been pretty formulaic in that sense. But yeah, AJ Logan, that could just be pretty surface level. That could literally just be a good match, and I would get behind that. Jacob Fatu and Strowman. Braun Strowman. Is this tickling your fancy right now?
No.
What does this need to be to tickle then thy fancy?
I don't want this to tickle my fancy.
Oh no,
I don't want
it's gonna forcefully tickle you. So what would you be okay with if it were to forcefully tickle you? Because we were clearly getting this.
a Bronson Reed return.
Ooh, triple threat, last monster standing.
No, Bronson Reed helps Jacob Fatu.
Oh, that's right. They were part of the bloodline together for a hot minute.
Because they just look so good together. Do I see it happening? No, because Bronson Reed like shattered his ankle, like destroyed his ankle. But that's the only thing that if at the end of the day, if the Triple H GPS says you arrived at your destination and Bronson Reed's there, standing him and Jacob Fatu are working together at the end of this Mania, I'd be like, wunderbar. Other than that, it's just a waste of Jacob Fatu's time because Braun Strowman, the monster amongst men, doesn't really add any pizzazz to Jacob Fatu. And at worst, it could risk the idea that Jacob Fatu is not an immovable object, or he's not a menace to society in that ring. Does that make sense? Because what are the promos going to be? I'm bigger than you, and then
gas, no brakes.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. You know, I want to get into what ticks Jacob Fatu more. I want to know about his past. I want to hear about him failing at being a gang member, because that's what he said. He's like, I'm a pretty bad gang. I'm pretty bad at it because I get locked up all the time. So clearly I had to switch my job careers. Jacob Fatu is so interesting outside of WWE in his indie days and all those interviews that he does. And he's such a charming guy that you're not going to get any of that in this Braun Strowman. You're not going to get the Solo Sikoa like, don't think so type of vibe, because Braun Strowman, you can't ping that off of him. There's nothing there to play against that we haven't already seen a Jacob Fatu. It'd be different if Braun Strowman was going up against, say, a Jey Uso, and Jey Uso needed to dig deep to, release this monster within type of vibe. But Jacob Fatu is that. It reminds me of Hulk versus Abomination. The only thing that Hulk could do is just get madder. And that's not going to impress me with Jacob Fatu.
Something to think about. I mean, I wouldn't mind, like, if I don't think this is a Mania match. That's the thing. I don't think that this is a Mania match. I bet you this ends up being a chaotic match during this European tour, because I feel like they're going to be doing some pretty insane stuff during this European tour from both a storyline perspective and match perspective. Like, for example, we have anything goes match between Penta and Ludwig Kaiser next week. I feel like that's going to be awesome. Like, I feel like they're saving some heater of matches. I mean, we got another one, Finn Balor and Braun Breaker. I think they're saving some big stuff for this European tour.
Did you like when the hug that Dom did to Finn Balor, like John Cena a little bit? It was a little bit of a mirror echoing of that.
I didn't see that. I didn't see a John Cena mirror.
Well, he when Dom hugged him, he was like, I don't know about this guy type of thing. He did it in a Dom way. He didn't do it. Yeah, it was like oh, Dom's up to something type of vibe. Because why would Dom be like, hey man, I got you a match?
No, that's what Liv Morgan said. She's like, I don't know why you wouldn't just get yourself that match. And then there seemed to be like maybe like a plan that Dominic is concocting. We'll see what that is.
I think they're gonna do what I wanted with Finn. They're gonna do what they did with Edge. They're gonna kick Finn Balor out
for a new member. I think that would work, right? Whoever that ends up being, I think there's a new member coming in.
Reset Finn Balor. Let's have him get on the cuffs of beating Braun Breaker, right? He's about to do it, and Dom knows that if Finn wins, if you believe in Finn, listen to Finn, whatever what the saying is. If Finn wins, he's gonna be unbearable on Judgment Day, right? He's gonna walk around and be like, "Yeah, I told you." So they're gonna have to do is betray Finn Balor, and then that maybe hopefully resets Finn Balor, because that's all I want.
Why did you need to add the?
That's what he would do. So, and that's the case. I'm down. Get Finn out of the Judgment Day. Let Dom be this new leader of this faction. I don't care. Throw in, like I said, it could be Rey Fenix. Throw in anybody in there. Don't care. But Judgment Day is hilarious, and they're just really cool. And Finn Balor doesn't make them cool anymore, right? They got to have someone that makes them cool. And I love how Carlito's like, man, I can't believe John Cena turned heel.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was going to be a good guy forever, like me.
Like me. All right, let's wrap things up. We have Alba Fire joining the Secret Service. So now we have two Scottish ladies as part of the Secret Service of Chelsea Green. They're missing one more Scottish person, and then that faction is really, really set. You know who they need to add?
Hit me.
Drew McIntyre is better than
Oh,
whatever it is that they're doing with Damian Priest.
Dude, I'm on board for that.
If he was the protector, the ultimate protector of Chelsea Green, I mean, it'd be the end of his main event career, but it'd be pretty fun.
Way,
no way.
way.
You think he could pull off being a member of the Secret Service without this being like borderline what he did with the 3-man band?
No, like if he just allow him to be a comedic character for a bit and very stoic, like it's okay to have a comedic pit stop like a la Stone Cold or Kurt Angle, and then surface up and then come back to being serious. He wouldn't be terrible. It'd just be different, which I would want more than him complaining all the time and him having to defend his justified and
I had a great 2024. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I was screwed. It's always about you, Seth. Like I miss Drew feuding. It's like seeing a prospect on a bad team. It's like having like a Justin Herbert on the Chargers.
Oh, shut your face.
You know what I mean? It's like so much talent, so much arm cannon talent and everything, and just not winning with him. It could be the organization. So he needs to be on a new team, and why not put him on a team of Chelsea Green? That'd be fun. Frankly, I'll make a video about this because I know we're near the end of the podcast, but I was debating and making a video about Chelsea Green is being underutilized as a heel because it's still this idea that she's a weasel heel, but dude, she's Canadian as a United States champion. What is the hottest topic in the world right now? United States and Canada. I'm not saying go all in on politics here, but let her ham that up a little bit. Let her be like, hey, I'm the United States champion, and I think the United States is great. I'm happy that I'm no longer in Canada. Like, lean more into that kind of stuff because I know she kind of teased that a little bit when on SmackDown, but let her really lean into that and maybe tease about. I wouldn't go all the way and go being the 51st state. Like, that's just too much of a line crosser, but I want to see more of that because Bret Hart did a great job of that when he was a heel. He would come out with the Canadian flag, and when he was in America, when he would ham that up. I just want Chelsea Green to do more because she does the Pledge of Allegiance, she does the saluting, but really like up the stakes a little bit. I feel like the WWE doesn't want to be anywhere near that, but I think there's an opportunity just to kind of tease that a little bit, And Alba Fire, ooh, look great. Come on now, so much better than Piper. I love Piper, but dog, they put Piper out there to fail 99% of the time. I was when that match with who was it with Bailey? Was that with the match with Bailey?
Meechin. It was the Chicago. Was it a Chicago?
No.
Fight?
Piper.
The Piper match. Yeah, that was.
Was
man, I already forgot. No, we got to figure this out. It was this past Friday. Was it Bianca? No.
Naomi?
No, Naomi wouldn't have had a match because she had the neck brace. Who did she have a match with? She got beat up. I know she got beat up.
Lyra. Right?
No way. Lyra's on SmackDown. Dude, how?
It was Tiffany Stratton.
Okay, Tiffany. All right.
Okay. I had that match against Tiffany Stratton. I sat there. I go, this is what's going to happen. Piper's going to hit her like spinning. What's that? Uranagi. She's going to hit that move. I said, she's going to do a great move. And then she's going to go to the top rope, miss, and then get hit with the moonsault. And I predicted that like a segment before a commercial, and that's the problem with Piper matches, man. You got to add some pizzazz. So I'm excited for Alba Fire, and I think Alba Fire is gonna have a mean streak to her, and she clearly displayed that. For a split second, I thought Matt Cardona was there. Just for a split second, when I saw
that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. Right? I'm excited for Alba Fire because Alba Fire is incredible, and now hopefully we get to see more of what Alba Fire is capable of providing in not a tag team environment. I hope that this could serve as a breakup for her to be a single star on the main roster because she really is incredibly good and was never able to really showcase that as part of the unholy union. We got like glimpses.
Do you feel like Alba Dawn wasn't down to do that? Like, I'm sure she would have, but it's strange to just release her and not Alba Fire together.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to assume.
They would be They would have been a great
combo. Absolutely a great combo for this.
Because they could have tag matches as the Secret Service representing Chelsea Green while kind of like a right to censor type of.
It would have been a fun faction. It definitely would have been a fun faction.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. I hate the business size of WWE a lot sometimes.
Well, folks, we'll wrap it up there.
Wait, time out.
What?
Time out. No, we won't. Wrestling is
We're
cool.
2 hours in.
I know, you old man, but listen here, man. People want to know about AEW. We cannot ignore AEW. I speak for the trees. Granted, I didn't watch AEW. I didn't pay for it.
You're holding up the podcast from ending. Let's talk about AEW. Didn't watch it.
No. I didn't pay for it because it's just dog. It is expensive. And I told this to my watch party when they asked me, "Are you going to watch it?" I was like, "Man, if the WWE, if I didn't do this for a living, and if WWE, I was just a normal fan, I would never buy every pay-per-view that the WWE is doing. But the WWE has Peacock, right? They have the WWE Network. It's affordable to watch WWE PLEs because of that notion. AEW, I would love to support, brother. And I thought this was going to be on Max. I was like, oh, I have Max. This is going to be on Max. I could watch it. No, it's not part of that deal. It doesn't make any sense for me because it's like, it's clear to me that AEW makes a lot of their money from the pay-per-view buys. So they're not going to give that up yet. And I don't know when it's going to be on Max. Maybe it's hopefully on now. I would love to watch it. But my notion is it is so hard to keep up with AEW, and their best stuff is at pay-per-views. And to justify $60 for stuff that I kind of like, I'm driving by. You know, I'm literally casual viewer of AEW because it's hard for me to commit to Collision, Dynamite, and their Ring of Honor stuff that they do sometimes. So that when I jump into a pay-per-view, I kind of want to know what I'm getting into, right? I kind of want to know the stories a little bit. I know there's vignettes and things of that sort, but to me, it's a hard for me to justify $60, watch it on a Saturday night for 4 or 5 hours to see if I get my money's worth. Does that make sense? Am I
sure? Well, the only reason you're like this is because you're spoiled by what WWE provides us in terms of how they provide us their PLEs and accessibility. Us. Absolutely, they definitely created
2016 or 17.
They created the expectation of how to consume premium shows. Yes. And unfortunately, like AEW just can't follow suit with this. I mean, I feel like they could have, maybe with the Max deal, but essentially what I'm saying is like you're spoiled because we used to pay. Well, no, you are. Your complaint is that it's not as accessible as WWE. It's accessible. It just costs money. It's just that you're not used to paying money anymore, and I get that. I totally get that.
To be fair, though, AEW in the past, there's like 5 different ways to watch it. You could watch it on Thriller, Bleacher Report, on
YouTube,
whatever.
That's where I watch mine, YouTube TV.
It's on YouTube TV?
It's on YouTube. I mean? Yeah, it costs money, but like it's still the same cost.
There's not a home base.
Man, it's on Amazon Prime now. Like, there's lots of ways to watch these AEW shows. It's just that you have to plunk down 70 bones for the show. That's the cost in Canada, by the way. I know it's a little bit. It's less because of the American dollar.
You give bones in Canada? You provide bones to pay for things?
Usually, that's how it is.
You don't have a currency?
That's what happens when you guys put 25% tariffs, bro. We start having to pay with our body. That's what happens.
WWE can do that. You know, a little bit of a little toe dip. My point is, I know people are going to ask us, did you watch any of the AEW?
I did. I've watched it all. I thought the show was amazing, and too many people are no, look, it's a justifiable complaint. The ending was terrible with Christian, who is holding their version of Money in the Bank, like their cash-in contract, since All In, dude. Like, we're talking like the majority of a year at this point. Fails his cash in just such a fart in the wind kind of way to allow Jon Moxley to be able to walk out of that match with against Cope to retain. Jon Moxley versus Cope was already, in my opinion, one of the weaker matches of the night. It overstayed its welcome, and I thought it was going to be saved by this cash in, but then it wasn't, and it was a bad ending, and that's what a lot of people have walked away with. But Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher, fucking magical steel cage match, absolutely incredible. Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. We got a title change, brother. Kenny Omega is back in an incredible match. Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May, only a 13-minute match, but the match that everyone has walked out talking about because it was so good between Tony Storm and Mariah May. And then Swerve versus Ricochet was good. Like this, Hangman versus MJF, like there was some awesome stuff on this card, like mostly all good stuff. Like it was an incredible pay-per-view, and people unfortunately want to latch on to the admittedly very weak ending, but the show was just so good. And this was a reminder of like, yeah, these pay-per-views more often than not, they are worth the money that they're asking for, but we're conditioned to expect other ways of consuming this type of content now, unfortunately, because WWE is the mainstay, and many of us are expecting that type of white glove service in terms of our ease to access premium content, but that's just not the case here.
To tie it into what we just talked about earlier, WWE free to play, AEW $60 get you in, man. Ooh, who can afford that? Basically.
It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask. If we still lived in the era of WWE pay-per-views, it would not be a tough ask. You know, that there was a time, Sancho, where TNA pay-per-views were totally like a fair deal because they were $20 less usually than the WWE pay-per-views, and you got bang for your bucks like in this match. But we are in a different era where like the concept of the pay-per-view is basically being held propped up alive like Weekend at Bernie's by UFC. Even boxing is starting to move away from it with putting like a lot of these big matches on places on Netflix. Like, bro, just look at what we just had with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Sometimes they put them on DAZN. So the landscape of pay-per-views is dead as far as I'm concerned. It's being propped up alive by UFC. And I think it's weird that AEW continues to hang on to this old relic of a consumer model of pay-per-views. Like it's archaic at this point. And it's a shame because it blocks people like you from being able to enjoy what was an unbelievable show. But I also don't blame the yous of the world. And when you say that, like, I don't want to pay $60 for this, dude, I get it. I get it. But it's a shame. It's a shame.
Well, the thing about it is, like, you know, I could spend $70 to enjoy it live, or I could wait a minute or two to see it on the timeline.
It's not the same. You know it's not the same.
Yeah, I know it's not the same, but if I wanted to see the crazy Spanish fly off the top of the cage, I can. Granted, you know, I could see that, but I won't see the drama. I won't see the way it's been built.
That's it. You miss the meat. You miss the meat.
Right. I would see, oh my God, they let Christian Cage fail when, you know, Moxley versus Cope sure wasn't like the heaters that were before, but at least it did something. Like, imagine if Christian Cage won with him just putting his hand on his chest. And
that would have been awesome. Right? Like that would have been a brilliant finish.
Right. That's a total Christian move to pull out. And that's a great way to justify John Moxley losing because of his over aggression and his tunnel vision. Didn't foresee that him choking out Christian Cage on top of basically Cope would have been like, oh my God. And then John would have been pissed at himself. And then he would have been able to lash out, and he could have put a bag over Christian's head if he wanted to again. Again, there's so many things, but I want to, the reason why I brought this up at the end, Santi, is we understand that there is a calling for AEW content on this channel in the podcast. And we do understand that AEW is turning the ship. Like I could feel it. I could see them working their magic. And I've been to an AEW live show and I had a hell of a time. And I like a lot of the talent that are there. It's just right now, it's hard to justify.
We have to pick and choose our battles. We have to pick and choose our battles because there's already so much WWE content. And if you, as a listener, if you made it this far, let me show you behind the curtain. Anytime that I do AEW content, it literally gets a 20th of the views than when I'm talking about WWE content. So when Sancho and I are trying to run what we want to be a successful business with the Patreon, we need to focus on the most important things, which is this road to WrestleMania in the WWE. We do. If there is ever room for us to be able to expand our team, that I feel like the first thing we would need, we've talked about it, is bring in somebody to cover AEW, TNA, and other things. But we are spread thin as it is just with WWE alone. Like it would be so difficult for us to give a honest to God good attempt at covering AEW with how spread thin we are right now with WWE. And we could, but then it just wouldn't do as well. It just wouldn't do as well from a view perspective, from a financial perspective, because I have all of the proof in the pudding that when I do AEW content, it does not do anywhere near as well as WWE content. Like it's not even close.
You get friction. You get unnecessary friction. It's like
big time.
You get flack for why are you covering AEW, and you get the tribalism coming out, and you're like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to talk about wrestling. But that's where I like about Match Club. And I know I'm shifting this to Patreon. I love Match Club because we don't have any of that. We watch all the promos, and there's sometimes you get a weird tribalism every now and then, but we quickly squash that because we're always there for the wrestling. And just recently we watched the Stardom match, and it was amazing. So
good.
I that's what I like about our Patreon community, and I like that we're fostering that kind of vibe, and I'm hoping you guys can join us out there because we could bit piece AEW content, like enjoy it and enjoy it for what it is, because we could. That's when we dedicate the time to sit down and we watch it. But if you in the comments, let me know what you thought about AEW Revolution, man. Is that what it is? Revolution?
AEW Revolution, yeah.
In Los Angeles, California, I would have gone to that if I was in LA.
No, you.
But
wouldn't.
I would have made. Yes, I would. No, I would have made sure, baby. I would have made sure that I was in the suite, baby. The crypto arena, you know what I mean. Only the best for your boy Sanchito.
All right.
Gracias.
All right, let's wrap this up, folks. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Quick reminder that, again, you could have gotten this 3 days earlier than everywhere else over on patreon.com/SantiZab, where you would not only get the podcast early, but so much more extra content that never appears on any of the free platforms. An extra special thank you goes out to our $15 patrons Gracias, who are our producers of the show. Sancho, I am now officially legally blind, so let me put on my glasses here so that I can go ahead and read out these names. So extra special thank you goes out to John Cena. Did nothing wrong. He was framed. First Patreon, Crazy Dude says W New Invincible episode. Aaron Garcia, Abdullah Kaja, Adam Pacina, Aiden S, Alex Regal, Alex, American Nightmare, Cody Lander, Anita Maxwin.
How dare you? New Heat order, you idiot. How dare you? Number one, Pretty Deadly. Order list done.
I completely forgot about it. We were 2 hours and 15 minutes in. We're wrapping this up.
Pretty Deadly number one, huh?
Sure.
Yes, boy.
Yes. Dude, people are going to be so mad that we forgot that all two people that like the new Heat order are going to be pissed. Anthony A, Antony, Arrogance, Ashley, Asperlitz, Ozzy Kingslayer, Austin Gregory, Authentic Chocolate, Bailey Saunders, Beckon Dragonoff, Barry, BFT is the skull crushing finale with less steps, Be Hostile, Big Bronson's Meat, Big Shy, Blast Pass 64, Blue Bod, Bluefish, Bombaclat, Brady Keaton, Brady McGlynn, Brandon Finley, Break a Wish, Bryce Bird, Bryson Miller, Caleb Williams, Callis Cavan, Cameron Waring, Cameron Talks WWE, Carlos Gonzalez, CB, Chase, Chimchar Collectibles, Chris Butner Lucas, Chris Estes, Chris Eric Clark Jr., Christian Billick, Clay, CM Drunk, Colby Mayo, Colin O'Malley, Colin Roach, Conductor of the Pentatrain, Connor Huffman, Connor Williamson, Cool Whip Tim, Corey King, Dalton Dunbar, Danny Mann, Danny Gunk, Darren Dunstan, Duck Girl. Well, you know what? There is no U or I. It's just DCK Girl. So it's either Duck or the other thing. Derek Barnhart, Devin, DG.
Richard Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D. Lopez, Dom should win everything. Drake Hughley, Dumsky, Dylan Kana, Eduardo Avila, El Joshi, Al Ferreira, Emmanuel Holmes, Aaron Thorne. Everybody loves Henry Ramon. Extreme Madness 98. Isach, Santi, Slittle, Weenie. Fishing with Papa J.
He's a Charger fan, by the way.
He is, I know.
Those Charger fans.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They're crazy. You guys got Khalil Mack, and you still suck.
Dude, we've done nothing in free agency. It's frustrating. Fletcher Walpole floating. FMF, CMA, Forever Wrestling, Franklin L. Everett, Fruit, Gamerscape, Gape Horn, George Valdez, Gilbert Deans, Goatman, Cheese, Grayson Swan, Groovy, GXA Man, Heartfelt, Hey Shakes, Hoodie Cam. I'm Rick James, bitch. Isaac McFlurry, Isaiah Day, Issa David. It's me, no, it's Mista. It's Christian, Jag Gibley, Jackson, Jacob Hype, Jacob Mueller, Jacob Pena, Jacob Staffel, Jaden Davis, Jaden Solomon Jones, Jake Shavoya, Jacob Kufis. He told me how to say it. Well, you didn't like my saying Kafuz? Kufis. James Brian Balago, Jason De Dios, Javier Rodriguez, Jalen Steele, JC Worley, Gene Carlos Capelan, Jeremiah Finley, Jesse Guerrero, JJ, Joe Velez, Joe Romig, Jolly Green Giant, Jordy Marte, Josby, Jose Ceja, Jose Santi's cousin, Josh Sutton, JR 2619, Judson Daniels, Juicy J, Justice, Justin Brooks, Justin Perkins, Justin Rivera, Caden Rivers, Kai Lone Star Jordan, Caden Bailey, Kapalot, Kensaku, Kuwaiti Rick Boogs, Kyrie Lawrence, Lauren Baker, Liam, Lil Shifu, Luis Aguilar, Luke Parker, Luke Sika, Manly Man, Marnie YCSM, Matthew Dollar, Matthew Watkins, Mossy or Mockley, Max Salazar, Mackay, Meredith Lee, Michael Purnell, Michael Paz, Michael Vera, Miguel Paredes, Mikey Rada, Mitchell X, Muhammad Albanai, Monte Moore, My Dad Left to Get a Finn Balor Singles Push, Nadeem Maya, Nathaniel Stevenson, Nellen Zach, Nicholas Kyle, Nighthawk, Nina, NyQuil Pad, Noah Burden, Obi Nobi, Oliver Hammonds, Osama Wad, Pat R., Pat McMark, Peter Novak, Pimcaw, Preston Botter, Preston Smith, Frody, Puke, Puppet Spanker Johnson, Reaper God, Rick Marr, 1R, Ricky Dutcher, Robert Rogers, Rocky B, Royce Ruffo, Riley, Said Vega, Sam Duke. Sancho doesn't get a safe play. Sancho is my la daddy. Santi, Sancho Santi. Santi wants Sancho to give him the glaze. Saudi Rick Boogs, Scotty Bear 92, Screamo Scott, Semba, Seymour Butts, nice. Shaggy WWE, Shane Carlin, Shitstain Nakamura, Sip God, Sir Alberton, Slow Toke Rodriguez, Solo, I love you. Solo, fuck you. Squirt Angle, Stephanie Vacher, lookalike contest in my bedroom. Stephen Colby, Stucky, Sugar Shane, Super Malachi Galaxy, Taco Bullfish, Tim and Brian, Tanner Cloudis, Taylor Moon, the final fucking boss, the final pebble. This is not a safe place. Timmy Fitzmaurice, Toasty Boy, Tobias Burnett, Tom Lehman, Trent Head, Trinidad Vasquez, Two Belts Tality, Tyler Free, Tyler Logan, V Charles, Vegan Penguin, Vin Diesel is the only one that can beat Cena, Juan Pablo. Where's that referee? Rock's trying to fuck me. White Mexican, William Newton, Willie Cecil, WWE Undisputed Dumbass, Sir Nightmare, Xavier D. Lewis, Javier Izquierdo, Zach Zmira, Deadshot, Zach Griffin, Zach Hewitt, Zach Butcher, Zay2K, Zergzito, and Lord BBNJ. Thank you all for watching and supporting the Wrestling is Cool podcast. We really do appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this extra long episode, nearly 2.5 hours. You folks take care, be wonderful people, and as always, oh no, that's my Twitch outro. Can't say that here. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.